East African event for the Cameroonians, the Djibouti people, the Zimbabweans, the Zambians, and I can go on and on. Don't feel out of place. It's East Africa hosting Africa. And the African Union is still with us to make sure that you know that continentally, everything we agree on will be taken up. And then please also stand again so they know you are still around. Okay? Are you tired or hungry? Eh? Of course, Yafika is also here. You heard from her just a while ago. I'm giving some comforting assurances for non-East African participants that this is also an African event. So the permanent secretary in the ministry responsible for ICT and innovation, the Republic of Rwanda, his name's Yves Iradukunda. And he's gonna be speaking to us briefly. Thereafter, we will have a very interesting panel linking to what he will talk about, which is digital tools and what governments and private sector can do to promote the enabling environment for digital innovation as a means for creating more jobs and opportunities for youth. So this is what we are going to spend our afternoon doing. On top of that, we have wonderful programs like East African Community Youth Enterprise Accelerator Innovation that is going to be sharing some opportunities that young people are working on as cross-border enterprises. They will make short presentations in the coming period this afternoon. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to confirm that our dear permanent secretary is online. So Mr. Iradukunda, if you can switch on your video so that we can see you and welcome you. Wonderful. Or you can say hello so that we know you are there. My team inside, give us a message there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are you able to switch on? Oh, yes, it's actually
the
on.
video is on. I don't know if you can hear and see me.
Yes, let me request the team to spotlight your video. Great. So, Mr. Yves Iradukunda is the permanent secretary in the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, Republic of Rwanda, speaking on behalf of Honorable Paula Ingabire, the minister responsible for ICT and Innovation in the Republic of Rwanda. Thank you very much for stepping in for the minister. We know that she wanted to be with us, but she's delayed in transit, and quickly she has asked you to step in. We appreciate you so much. So you have the floor, Permanent Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderator, for giving me the floor. Greetings from Kigali. Dear young people present, both there in person, I can see the video. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again. Bring to you greetings from Honorable Minister Paula Ingabire, the Minister of ICT and Innovation, who wished to be with you this afternoon, but could not be able to make it due to reasons that have been mentioned. But it's my utmost pleasure to be speaking to you. But most importantly, let me say, it was great to see the energy that is there in the room. I wish I could be there personally, because it seems like you're definitely having a great time, great conversations. And although this brief intervention was delayed, I understand that you had a busy schedule this morning. I'm glad that I could be also able to share with you some of the key points as I've been asked to speak briefly about the future of work and the role of technology and innovation. Maybe briefly, before I share a few points, allow me to share about the work that we do here at the Ministry of ICT and Innovation in Rwanda. First and foremost, the country of Rwanda and our leadership has prioritized the fact that technology needs to play a critical role in our socio-economic transformation. And so the ministry is really mandated to drive digital transformation when it comes to the right infrastructure for connectivity, but also creating the right systems and services for our citizens to access. And so it's been a journey for over 20 years of making sure that we have the right policies, the right infrastructure, but also most importantly, the right environment for private sector investment to drive the digital transformation. At the same time, our ministry is charged with innovation. What does it mean in the context of a young country with a lot of young people, with a changing technology, with different emerging solutions that are leveraging technology and also solving questions in or problems in our context, an African context. So this is a big part of our work. And you cannot talk about innovation without talking about young people and their role to play. You cannot talk about innovation without thinking about cross-border markets and our regional integration. You cannot talk about innovation without really entrepreneurship and job creation. And as you know, the future of work, the jobs to be created, most of them will be online, will be leveraging digital tools. And so when we approach both digital transformation and innovation, there is a significant intersection between the two. And most importantly, there is a significant role for the youth to play and to be a part of and parcel of what we do. And so that's a very big part of our mandate. I'll share a few things that we are doing to make sure that youth are being at the forefront of driving technology transformation. But before I do, I wanted to uh, first of all commend the forum and the organizers because indeed, young people are critical when it comes to driving the change that I mentioned, the digital transformation, but also the capability to innovate and create jobs leveraging digital platform. And so I think this is the right, forum to be having this conversation. So it's commendable to the organizers to have brought you all together and allowing us to engage with you. So I firmly believe that innovation and the role that young people of the continent of Africa have to play is critical. I'll give you a few examples. Just this weekend in Rwanda, we held a national competition called Hunger Pitch First. It's a part of our digital transformation programs, and it's geared toward supporting tech entrepreneurs and providing them with a platform, a unique platform to meet investors, to be able to scale their ideas both within our market but also regionally. What you see, the energy you see, the kind of ideas that you see in this type of competition really reveal the need for further integration of solutions that we are seeing more and more in these competitions are solutions that are cross-border. They are solving challenges that I believe would resonate with almost any country on this continent. And this is really important. Government, we want to create that platform that gives opportunity to tech entrepreneurs or to innovators within different countries, different sectors, to have that space to create the right innovations. And so what we are seeing within our ecosystem is the need for even more collaboration across the borders between our young people, so that some of these ideas can permeate within different markets and deliver the value that we expect. We've had some success of regional programs where we have tech entrepreneurs coming from different countries and leveraging our strategy here in Rwanda of a proof of concept to try their ideas and solutions that can scale across the continent. Let me give an example of one of those initiatives. There is a partnership between Novartis Foundation and a Norsken Foundation, one of the largest tech hub here in Rwanda, and I believe in East Africa, a tech entrepreneurship incubation hub. And Novartis Foundation brought about the concept of health tech. So they are in the first cohort, 30 health tech startups from different countries on the continent that have been incubated that are trying to solve health challenges using technology. And one of the biggest success of this initiative is the ability to bring this kind of talent from different countries on the continent, and they're working together on different theses, on the different ideas, deploying technologies such as AI and machine learning to revolutionize healthcare delivery. And what you see also in their approach is really a person-centered, data-driven kind of solutions that are coming up. So that's just, again, an example of the African talent leveraging technology to design solutions, but also to create jobs for the future. So I believe, similar to Rwanda, East African countries, many other African countries, governments have worked so hard to lay the right foundations from a technology perspective. We are seeing many startups, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from Uganda, and other countries that are solving problems, either from a healthcare perspective, financial services, the fintech companies, agri-tech companies, among others, that are bringing solutions that are leveraging technology and creating jobs and addressing some of the challenges. We are also seeing a great movement into climate technology in terms of mitigating the risks of climate change. And so I am firmly confident that this is the time where, as government, we need to continue to give the space for young people to take charge, to leverage these investments in infrastructure and policies and education systems to allow this innovation, to allow job creation, to really allow the space for young people to continue to thrive and create sustainability and sustainable solution. So that's really, part of the message I wanted to share today is really a call to young people to leverage these opportunities that are created in our respective countries in our region to innovate and to be a part of driving this digital transformation, but also a call to represented government institutions and officials present to really continue to do policy interventions, strategic interventions, different investments, allow the youth to take charge and to drive the transformation. I understand that there is a panel that will follow, so hopefully some of these examples that I shared will be food for thought for further discussions. Again, I wish I was there with you in person, but again, I think the time is right, and I think you have the right people in the room to further ideas, and again, encouraging further collaboration among our youth to drive digital transformation. With that, ladies and gentlemen, young people there present and others following online, I wanted to thank you for giving me your attention, and looking forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iradikunda, for making the time, even on short notice, on the request of the minister to come and represent the minister and the Republic of Rwanda. We thank you very much. Again, you are welcome to stick around and listen to what is going on here. Importantly, as you have spoken about digital tools and infrastructure and policies as a means for addressing young people's needs and creating opportunities for our people, the next session is very important also for you to hear what the young people are doing. So we welcome you and I request that you stick around as much as you have the time. The next session, we are going to hear a short testimony from those who are innovating digital solutions for access to services and creation of employment opportunities. And we will also see what are the latest ideas that young people from the region would like to work on, both taking advantage of digital or internet-mediated tools, as well as opportunities like AFCFTA to do business across borders, especially trading services and trading skills. I usually say that youth should prepare to trade in skills and talent. So that is the next bit, so that we also see what are we doing as young people. So for that, we want to fast track. So we have our alumni. Two alumni were prepared, but I'm not sure if Semafara is online, is from Rwanda also, is our alumni and beneficiary or participant in our ESC Youth Enterprise Accelerator Innovations for Cross-Border Business. And he innovated a solution for access to education curriculum, like to know where is the content and the teachers can tap into to teach pupils anywhere. And the second one is Alfred Kaino, who is also innovating digital solutions in education. I don't want to misrepresent, but he's present with us. He's been part of the faculty for the boot camp, and he's gonna briefly, and I say briefly, share with us the experience. He is also been mentoring for the last 1 week alongside Leah, those who are pitching in this session. They have been under their mentorship. How do you move your idea from an idea to a business? So Kaino, just without wasting a lot of time, please come and tell us what you have been doing in a very brief manner, and then please lead us into your mentees and what they are doing. And from there, Leah will be ready to give us a panel, and we will be hosting also our first daughter, Miss Shireen, in this panel to see what she thinks that youth can do in the area of innovation. And you are welcome, Alfred.
Thank you, Ivan. Hi, everybody. I hope we've had a wonderful session. So, because Ivan has insisted on the word briefly, I want to only speak for 1 minute. But allow me introduce you to an impact video that was captured by CNN about the works that Kano Africa is doing. So, control room, please.
In Uganda, the demand for new ways of learning is being met by some of the country's best and brightest. Whether repurposing old tech in innovative new ways, building an entirely new platform from the ground up.
So heartwarming. Yeah, you know, when you change lives of people like these.
These are the Ugandan pioneers developing tech to create interactive learning experiences. This is Inside Africa. In a small village in the Soroti district, the day begins with a school lesson for these bright young minds.
Today we are going to learn about the part of the human head. Show me the mouth. Egla focana.
They are also learning to read and write in English. This is partly the result of an online early childhood development program called Kano Africa, launched by social entrepreneur Alfred Opio in 2018.
Kano Africa is a startup that has come to change the narrative for early childhood education on the continent of Africa. So what we do at Kano Africa is simply revolutionize the teacher guide access for early childhood education that empowers children to have good brain stimulation and also learn literacy skills and numeracy skills as early as possible. Today, our mission is to enable children in Africa, be it rural or urban. We just want to level that playing field so that every child in Africa has the same kind of content and then they can compete equally.
While class is in session, the parents of these students are rolling out the welcome mat.
Man, it's so amazing, it's so heartwarming. This is feels so legitimate. Yeah, you know, when you change lives of people like this and they welcome you like this, I think this is what we need to be doing for the country, yeah?
Alfred is here to check in on their progress and encourage the village to stay the course with the Early Childhood Development Program.
This village had never had any ECD center in its history. We set up 5 ECD centers with about 700 children right now. And the parents of these children have actually contributed money and they've managed to buy land and they want to raise a structure so that the Kano homeschooling can continue within their community. It shows that you have the capacity to support yourselves. Even if help does not come, you have the mind and power and capacity to make it continue.
The way Alfred sees it, when the goal is to provide accessibility for kids, every little detail matters.
Hello guys. Hello. Good morning. ECD centers in Uganda or Africa enroll onto the platform, and once that happens, we get the administrators set up our accounts for them. Once that is done, the administrators will set up their teachers onto the platform, and the teachers will then enroll the students and the parents onto the platform. The application can work with the internet or without the internet for purposes of the rural areas that do not have access to the internet. This is the video part.
Alfred and his team believe another key to successful learning is making it easier, not just for the students, but for the instructors as well.
The lesson 1 is about mastering number.
The application will simply present them with a learning activity for the day that they need to conduct. And even when they open that particular learning activity, it still gives them a step-by-step breakdown of the different activities and the process of how to deliver that particular lesson.
When learning is more accessible, the Ugandan entrepreneur sees a future of possibility.
Good work here. The big dream for Kano Africa is to be the continent's standard when it comes to early childhood education. Our dream is to have the children of Africa pride themselves in going through a Kano Smart School. Thank you so much for that. So let me just use 1 minute to run you quickly through what Kano is all about. So I started Kano in 2018, and immediately after that, I rolled into the Youth Enterprise Awards program by the YouLead. So we applied like any of you whom we've been sharing sessions with, got accepted into the program. Good enough, we were funded by the program to build our prototype. Our prototype, the Kano prototype, got recognition by the Ministry of ICT in Uganda, and we were funded to build an MVP, which is a minimum viable product. And we tested it. After that testing, UNICEF Uganda signed a partnership with us through the Outbox Hub to pilot this program and ascertain whether it really works. I'm happy to share that our pilot is ending this month in December. And we have also signed another partnership with the Aga Khan Foundation, still to do the same. Kano Africa has raised a total of 75,000 US dollars ever since we got our funding from the YouLead Summit. It wasn't much, it was seed funding, but it built us a solution that is changing lives right now. To date, 3,000 refugee children in Uganda are using Kano to learn how to read and write. We have 1,500 children, like you've seen in the video, from rural areas that are using the solution. We are currently raising 200,000 US dollars to commercialize Kano next year in Jan or February. That's pretty much the summary of Kano, but I would urge you kindly to follow Kano African on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. We are there. Thank you so much for being a good audience. And now allow me introduce the program of the Youth Enterprise Awards. So the East African Youth Enterprise Acceleration Awards was developed in response to the COVID-19 pandemic in a context that will allow us search for ways to be a part of creating solutions in the spirit of building forward thinking and strong youth, like you guys in here. So YEAR is Youth Enterprise Awards in short, okay? So the YEAR program was launched in 2020 at the YouLead Summit. I'm happy to say that I was a part of the first program, okay? That's where Kano Africa was born. And we benefited through the grant that we received from YouLead. These awards sought to train and fund youth-led businesses like yourselves across the East African Community Partner States that were resilient, innovative, and simultaneously taking deliberate, innovative actions towards providing decent livelihoods and confronting the most pressing needs, which you all know, which is youth unemployment, right? Sure. Today, I'm here with my team to present to you the entrepreneurs that Ivan spoke about. Good enough because of the work that we've been doing after. We got an opportunity, myself, to come and mentor my colleagues through my experience being at the forefront in the field. And I'm happy to introduce to you the people I've been working with. So without wasting time, I would like to invite Mr. Emmanuel Busulwa to be our first participant of the day. Please, a round of applause as he comes. So Emmanuel Busulwa is from Uganda, and he runs a startup known as YouLead. He will tell you the rest. I don't want to pitch for him. Please, a round of applause. You know that pressure is there.
Hello. Good afternoon, guys. Are we up? Okay. Should I start? Good afternoon, everyone, one more time. My name is Emmanuel Busulwa. I'm the founder and CEO of YouLead. I'd like to talk to you about something that concerns all of us. We all wake up every morning, work so hard, take our kids to school or go through school with one end goal, to build value. And when you build value in society, you make money. Have you noticed that we are all broke all the time? Even now. So, please listen. This is what I want to share with you. The problem is there's a lack of equitable financial inclusion for young people in Africa. And also, the root cause is financial illiteracy. Many of us know how to make money. The truth is, I don't have to teach you how to make your money. The issue is, how do you manage it? And what's our solution? We'd like to empower young people to make informed financial decisions through financial literacy programs. And secondly, we've created a debit card, a prepaid debit card. I don't know why the people are not sharing with you. Sorry, media team, please step up. So there's a prepaid debit card we've created to grant users access to financial services and also to enable them practice good personal financial habits as they learn. Next slide. Next slide, please. That's our card. That's a real card, actually. Looks that way. And our value proposition is a prepaid card for teenagers and students adored by parents and guardians. The product I'm telling you is actually real. We started in 2017, and 2019, by the end of the year, we had 500 active users. 2020 is when we launched version 2 of the app and our actual financial literacy program. The years between 2020 and this year were a flat line because of COVID. Our traction so far, we've so far processed over $5,000. We so far have 1,000 card users, active card users. We are present in over 8 schools, and we've trained all the kids in these 8 schools. It's a 6-week program that we spread out over time. And also, our target market, please, media team, play along. Our target market is parents, who are the source of the money we use as young people, teens and students, who are the primary users, and lastly, schools. They're the environment in which the card is being used. Our market size. The research we did is based on Uganda. In Uganda, we have over 17 million people who go to school. And out of those 17 million, we have about 9 million people who are in the age bracket that we intend to work with, teenagers. And out of those, we have over 300,000 that we can reach directly without any hiccup. Our direct competitors, media team, please. Our direct competitors, Akau and Omnicard, they're trying to do something similar with us, but we're a little bit different. And our indirect competitors are cash. We all know that in school, everyone uses cash. So it's a directing competitor. We're looking for $50,000 to help us scale. I must be honest. We're already up and running, but we need to scale. We need to hire people. We need to develop our system further. We need more hardware, and also we need to market and sell more. Our competitive advantage is that we offer a financial literacy program. Our cards are PIN protected, and there are so many features, as you can see, that are beyond just the transactions. Our competitor approach, number 1, we need to continue with aggressive financial literacy programs. Guys, I have done this. The more I teach, the more I learn. I'm still guilty of said so many financial mishaps. The second one, we offer a freemium model. The card is free to use for a given number of days, and after that, you start becoming a paying customer. And last one, events and strategic partnerships with banks and other development partners that can help us push this message forward. Our revenue model,
Emma, you need to wrap up.
We pinch 2% of every transaction value. So every time a student swipes something, we keep 2% of that. Thank you so much.
So I've noticed that you're very eager to know more about WorldCard and what Emma is doing. So I'll just give an opportunity randomly. Can we just have 2 questions for him? And we keep it way under 30 seconds just for time purposes. You've been very active. And okay, so one here and another. Okay, we'll have one, gender balance. Okay.
I'm asking something I didn't get well. You said you keep 2% after 4 as interest or as what?
No, it's 2% of the transaction value. So if someone is buying a soda, in my country, soda is 1,000 shillings.
Is the card digitalized?
Yes, it is fully.
And after using the card, is the card only used within the school or something?
Part of the reason we are trying to raise money is that we intend to integrate with Visa and step it out. Because the people we are targeting are not only in school. Even people like your children or anyone, your siblings could have access to this.
What interest do you get as you now from the card?
What interest? You mean in terms of revenue?
Yeah, revenue or anything?
The card is for sale at about $3 each. And also the 2% that we make on every transaction amalgamates into something that helps the company thrive. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. But you can see that there's interest going on. So please, 30 seconds, please.
Right. My name is Mugabe Patsy. I'm a financial wellness activist. My question is twofold. First and foremost, what's the difference between what WorldCard is offering students in school as compared to what the banks are offering them through these programs? And secondly, is there an opportunity to have financial EQ? You know, we have IQ, which is intelligence quotient, but there's some things about like money personalities. Is that something that you're covering for money EQ?
Thank you. First of all, a bank's core business is not training. A bank's core business is, managing your money. Truth is, they need your money to survive. Our core business, on the other hand, is training. And the card is a product of the training. So we are different in such a way that we wake up, breathe, eat these training programs, these literacy programs. It's our core mandate. And the second question was? Yes. Part of the programs I have been exposed to that I wish to spread to the rest of our users are these personal wellness tests that you do. Guys, we all think we understand money. Those of us who are in the boot camp got some money. I bet none of us still has it.
Emma, please.
Thank you. I hope I've answered your question, Patsy. Is that all? Yes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. So
share with you more later.
we are just running short of time, so we're going to have to move to the next. Another round of applause to Emma, please. Up next is another contestant, but I've received information. Walikad, you have partners who are interested in talking to you after this. I'm not going to break it, but see me. You remember the primary school? See me after this. I will tell you who's looking for you, but strong connections after this. Up next is Kevin from Burundi. Kevin is the founder and CEO of Spotter Company. I will allow him speak for himself. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you very much. My name is Kevin Yonghuru. As said, I'm the founder and the CEO of Spotter Company. And Spotter Company is an agribusiness company processing the sweet potatoes in Burundi.
Kevin, excuse me, please just say next, and the control room will switch you to the next slide.
Yeah. As you can see on the first slide, these are the partners that we have. We have Search for Common Ground. We have Light Award, which is a program of the Light University in Burundi. We have Afoje, which is a training center, and we have Spark and Payage. That Payage is a program of youth that has been started by our current president of Burundi. Next, please. 64% of population in Burundi affected by malnutrition. And you guess what? Most of factors which are there, we recognize one factor, and that is the one we wanted to work on. That factor is related to the increase in price of sugar. As you know, that sugar is mostly used in preparing porridge and bakery products, as you know. But in Burundi, you realize that along 7 months out of 12 months along the year, we have shortage of industrial sugar, which means that most of people do not have access to porridge and bakery products. Even if they are rare, they are expensive. Because 1 kilogram of sugar along the 7 months of the year, it is 10,000, yet the normal price is 2,500. And then on that problem, there is a great opportunity, as in Burundi we have a high production of sweet potatoes. And along the year, we harvest around 746 tons of sweet potato. And again, the sweet potatoes have a sugar content which is high, because you realize that in 3.5 ounces of sweet potato, there is 4.2 grams of sugar, which means that that is a great opportunity to tackle that problem of not having access to porridge bakery products. That's why on that opportunity, we came up with different products so that we help the population of Burundi to be able to access to the highly nutritious porridge that doesn't require the sugar. Even if there is no sugar, they can still use this porridge. This is Akiwach porridge, the sweet potato-based porridge flour. And we also have the chips, the sweet potato chipsy. And this one is for everyone, even for the porridge flour. It's mostly used for children below 5 years, pregnant women, and breastfeeding women. These are the different products even if we have not been able to come with the baking flour, we also make the baking flour from the sweet potatoes. Next.
Kevin, you need to be winding up now.
Yes, yeah. We have been receiving positive feedback, mostly as some mothers have been telling us that now there's no problem of not having sugar, which means that they are still using our porridge flour even if there's no sugar along the 7 months whereby the sugar is expensive. And then after these feedbacks, we realized that there is a great opportunity in Burundi, a market opportunity which is very large because in the secondary market valuation, we have around 2.9 billion. And again, in the primary market valuation, we have around 189 millions. When in the tertiary market valuation, we have around 9,500,000. So this is a great market that we have in Burundi.
Thank you, Kevin. Your time is up, and we're really going to be strict. I get that. Listen, it's okay. 4 minutes, huh? One more. Due to public demand, 1 more minute, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being a good audience.
Kind. Yeah, we are not working alone. In Burundi, there are different competitors. On the side of the baking flour, there are 2 big competitors, which are which is Azam, and also we have Azania Group. There's 2 competitors. For them, we are still on top because our baking flour, even if you do not have the sugar, you can still bake, getting the donuts, getting the bread, even if you do not have sugar. But for them, the flour that they provide, it's only using sugar. You cannot prepare the bread without using sugar. And on the side of, still on the slide, on the side of porridge flour, we have other competitors, but for them, it's the same because you cannot prepare that porridge if you do not have sugar. But for us, our product, you just prepare that even if you do not have sugar. So for us, we are still on the point of high, which is making us moving high because our products, you can use them without using sugar.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Your minute is up. So we can see that Kevin has got lots of ideas, okay? Undoubtedly. This is the life of entrepreneurs. You meet somebody, an investor, you only have 1 minute to strike them, okay? So 2 questions, lady and gentleman. Let me see, okay, fine. I need the gentleman just to balance even this out. Okay, right there. So your question. Kevin, let's check questions, then we can answer at once, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, for the porridge, is it only for the children, the young children, or everyone? And do you consider having the flours with no sugar, or yours is just basically sugar for the children maybe who are diabetic and cannot take sugar?
Thank you so much. You want to answer that now?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much. That is a question which is very important to know because if we are producing something to be eaten, we really want to know what are the people who are targeted. For us, we target the children who are below 5 years and the breastfeeding women and also the pregnant women because these are the 3 categories that need the vitamins and the proteins. Yet, you know that other categories, even if they do not have these proteins, the vitamins, they still resist. But these are the 3 categories that we target. But also, our products are for everyone. But for children, if a kid doesn't reach 6 months, cannot take that porridge.
Thank you. Next question.
Yeah, Kevin, that was a wonderful presentation. And I must say, you are so passionate about what you're doing. Continue with whatever you're doing. I'm Johnson from Kenya. My question is, You mentioned the strength is your porridge doesn't need sugar because it already has its own sugar. What's the weakness of whatever you're doing? And because we are at a bigger platform, how can we go about the challenge? Thank you.
Thank you for that very technical question. Kevin, I don't know whether you're going to answer that, but let's go.
Thank you very much for these two questions, which are also very important. As I mentioned, the different competitors in Burundi, yes, we have strength, but also we have weaknesses. On top of weakness, it's a financial situation. Because number one, it was on the other slide that I have not been able to reach, whereby I would like to mention that we need also the support so that we can grow and also be able to tackle or exactly on that point that we want to solve. I mean, to be able, for example, now we just produce around 2,000 kilograms of porridge, but we really want to be able to produce like 8 tons. That is what we are targeting. Meaning that to be able to do that, we need equipment because we do not have enough. So that is number one. The financial situation is our weakness, but that's why we are looking for different investors so that we can work together and
okay, thank you,
tackle
Kevin.
the
A round of applause for Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin. You can kindly take your seat. Thank you. Another round of applause for Kevin, surely. So the life of entrepreneurs is that difficult. Sometimes you have to keep time. You do not have enough time. You meet somebody in the corridor and you're talking to them. They're not going to listen to you for more than 50 seconds. You need to get yourself ready. So up next is another participant who is online. South Sudan, let me hear some noise. So we have Peter Garang from South Sudan, who is the founder and CEO of Sud Health. Peter, are you online?
Yes, please, I do.
Do you want to start now?
Yes.
Okay,
but
please
I also
proceed.
wish to ask the control room to project my pitch.
Technical team, please project his pitch deck.
Thank you. My name is Peter Garang, the founder and team lead for Suit Tech, a company that is currently under prototype. I just want us to take 1 second to think about losing a sister, a mother, a wife, because of something that you and I can prevent. That is what exactly happens in South Sudan, where 1,150 lives are lost during delivery. In South Sudan, the issues of adolescent pregnancies actually become very high. And this issue actually become so much exacerbated during time. The control room, please, I noticed that we are using a wrong slide. We are using a wrong slide. Can you use the updated slide which I sent today?
Peter, unfortunately, that might not be possible because that's the slide that the technical team has. Please give us updated information.
Yes, fine. So we can move to the next slide. As I said, these issues are actually exacerbated by the monster that is COVID-19. But again, what we can learn from COVID-19 is that the traditional early care provision is no longer an alternative when it comes to early service emergencies, and that a thought process must be put into action. And that's why, next slide, and that's why my team and I came up with the Suit Tech that ensure the provision of early services through telemedicine, and that will act as an alternative early care services during early emergencies and beyond. How do we do this? We do this by providing, we actually have 4 main models that we use. at Suit Ellis Tech, one of which is a real-time video conferencing. The second is remote patient monitoring, and also trying to collect the client information and then connecting them to the service providers, and client Ellis Emergency Fund. Now, next slide. That talks about our market and the revenue generation. Currently, there's no another tele-Ellis company that operates in South Sudan, and that gives us a bigger opportunity, to switch into the market. The market survey that we conducted shows that out of 120 young people that we actually assessed to see if they're interested in our products, we had 100 young people showing interest that are actually willing to pay 1%, $1 per every time they visit our services, and that are willing to pay $40 for them to be members of Suit Ellis Tech. Our revenue generation strategies are that we generate funds using annual subscription fee or client visit per consultation, in-app website advertising and market affiliating, e-commerce sales, client saving for client Ellis emergencies. Next slide, please.
Peter, you have 1 minute.
We need to scale up, and as I said, we are currently under testing, and for us to operationalize, we need issues to legal registration, website and application design, or office hire and setup, and definitely to scale up, we need to launch a project, and that requires an investment case of 15,000 USD. That has to be 15,000 USD in the updated slide that I have. And our team comprises of 3 physicians that are experienced and led by me. And as we move on, we plan to bring in a dynamic team, actually, that are expert in digital marketing, communication, and public relation officers, ICT technician, sales manager, and business development director. Thank you all so much for listening.
Wow, it's amazing that you made it in time. But before I get to 2 questions, I just want one person from the audience to tell us what Suit Health does. What do you understand Suit Health does? Anybody? Please. Just briefly tell us in 30 seconds what you have learned about what Suit Health does. I think we needed that. So the question is done. Can we, rather the information is done, can we just have questions? 2 questions, a gentleman and a lady. Questions? 1. Okay, we will go with the 2 ladies. Sure.
Thank you. I'm Charity from Uganda. Thank you, Peter, for that. My concern is, do you have a plan for including more specialists into the program? You said you're a physician, you didn't say anything about gynecologists and all the specialists we need to work with teenage mothers. And I kind of didn't get a clear idea of what this is about. Are you trying to curb the deaths from pregnancies? Are you trying to curb the number of teenage pregnancies? What exactly are you going to explain further to us, what exactly you're going to do, your plan? And you said you're 3 physicians. Do you have a plan of bringing in more people to work in and all that? Thank you.
Thank you. Peter, please respond to this before we get to the next question. Peter, are you online?
Yes, I think it is unfortunate that the wrong slide has been projected, but in the slide that I have clearly states what we are doing is that we try to provide especially sexual reproductive early services to young girls and women that are in need. And when you look at the current maternal mortality rate that we have in the country, majority of it is actually attributed as a result of inaccessibility of sexual reproductive health that are supposed to be assessed by these young women. So we use digital platform to ensure that we bridge that gap and to ensure that the young women and girls have accurate and timely information such that they're able to inform their decisions, and that later on is translated to curbing the unwanted and intended pregnancies that contributed directly to the death
Thank
of that
you.
mother.
Thank you,
during
Peter.
pregnancy.
Let's take the next question.
It's very unfortunate that my question is to his first presentation, which wasn't capturing exactly what they were doing, because I didn't hear sexual reproductive health. So my question was, in most cases, I think tech-based solutions to addressing emergencies in the health sector have not directly helped victims, because if it's a health issue, it needs real-time attending to. How best, I mean, do we intend? We have, in Uganda, we have Rocket Health, which in most cases we know I can only go to Rocket Health if it's not an emergency. So at the end of the day, I don't know if it's a health emergency. What is it that you intend to do in your country? Thank you.
Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I think this solution as a telehealth prevent emergencies from happening. So we do real-time video conferencing services to ensure that we prevent even that mother from getting into emergencies by having access on how to make an informed choices and decide on their pregnancies. That actually, because we are not actually addressing emergencies, but we are addressing issues that will lead to emergencies. So we are purely a preventive kind of approach that addresses emergencies from happening. Thank you.
A round of applause to Peter from South Sudan. Peter, thank you so much for being a part of the struggle for entrepreneurs. The struggle never ends. So, up next, my Kenyan friends, where are you? So, Charles Oyamo, we need to know if you are online. Are you there?
Yes. Yes, I am,
Well,
Alfred.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome Charles Oyamo from Kenya. He is the founder and CEO of Rethread. I will not pitch for him. Let him pitch. Do you want to start now?
Yeah. So awesome. Thank you.
Okay, please start.
Next. So hi everyone. My name is Charles Oyamo. As stated, I come from the University of Nairobi. I saw Melvin. Essentially, what we're trying to work on is a climate action sort of a startup, right? And today we are living in a very precarious time, right? Because 140 million Africans are food insecure, and 5 million children, particularly closer home, that's the Horn of Africa. So that's Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia, are facing acute malnutrition. And if we don't do anything about climate change, it will cost us over $50 billion in lost opportunity by 2050. So that's why we are acting. Next slide. So, but here's a wild thought, right? I saw all of us are putting on African wax prints and looking nice. But have you ever thought, are you polluting the environment with the clothes you are putting on right now? And this is what I mean. Next slide. Is your fashion sustainable, right? If you look at your entire closet and your clothes buying habit, is your fashion sustainable? Next slide. Because today, how we are producing clothes and how we are using clothes is really killing our environment. The process of making textiles emits more carbon emission than all of international flights and maritime combined. And this is because we are, sorry, go back to the previous slide. And this is because we are making clothes from plastic-based material like polyester. And the problem with this is that these are cheap clothes. So we are making them cheaply, we are throwing them away just as fast because we are sending a truckload of textile waste into landfills every single second. So next slide. So if we don't do something about fashion and how we dress today, it will be accounting for a quarter of the global carbon budget by 2050. Next slide. So what are we doing about it, right? So what Rethread is a material technology startup that is building the technology to turn agricultural waste into biodegradable textile fabric. Next slide. How we are able, so our fabric is really planet positive in the sense that We're using 99% less water. We're able to reduce eutrophication from the process of making the textile by up to 51%. And we're supporting a couple of SDGs while at it. Next slide. So how we're able to do it is we start our engagements with smallholder farmers, where we are presently working with maize husk, right? So we're working with smallholder farmers who are planting maize. And after harvest, we're able to take the maize husk and process it through a patent pending process into now making the yarn. We've been able to make the yarn. What's keeping us from going to making the fabric is the machinery required. Next slide. So essentially, this is our MVP, and we've been able to do this at the University of Nairobi Chemistry Lab at Chiromo. Melvin and Becky know what I'm talking about. Oh, and Charlene, she was there recently, right? So next slide. Awesome, yeah. So the process of turning maize into fabric is pretty new and pretty crazy. And we have an equally crazy team working on it, right? What gives us more pleasure is the fact that our team is essentially led by women. Our technical lead, Grace, is studying petroleum engineering and is majoring in chemical engineering at the University of Nairobi. We have Christine, who handles our sustainability impact and vision and what we want to do as a company. And the rest of us supporting business and product development. Next slide. So to get here, we've worked with a couple of partners from UNDP Kenya to the Kenya Innovation Week, Youth Connect Africa, and our home, the University of Nairobi, to now develop it from a research project into now a spin-off. Next slide. So they've been able to prove that the science work, and we're in the process of now commercializing the product in Q2 of next year, according to our schedules. To do that, we need $20,000 to we've presently gotten 15% of this committed, and this funding will essentially go into focus into research and commercialization of our product. Next slide. So yeah, this is a very famous quote and I love it. So essentially there's a Burkina Faso saying that says that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, walk together, right? And the reason why we are very appreciative of this opportunity is because we are looking at partnership to work with the East African Business Council, essentially to understand the business dynamic in Jumuiya, and probably enhance our research capability through the East Africa Science and Technology Partnership. But more importantly is understanding how we can get our fabric to more markets from in Africa and beyond. So that's through the AFCFTA and the ITC. Next slide. Oh yeah, nice, awesome. So in the last slide, right? And I was happy to see Anita in this conversation and also Charlene. We're very passionate about climate action. And today, where we are less than 7 years from the SDG deadline, and fashion is really destroying environment from production to wearing and disposing, I urge us all not to dress for the job we want, but to dress for the world we want. So next slide.
Charles, your time is
Thank
up.
you.
Charles, I think you can see what's happening. It looks like you have a very wonderful solution, but as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you create value that is going to bring in income or make sales. That's where we cut it. Is the former Miss Kenya around because you're into fashion and fabric? Is Diana here? No, tell Diana to look for Charles. Eh? And Charles, you mentioned Melvin a lot. We have the guild president, University of Nairobi in the house, Melvin. But she has no authority to the process, so. Okay, so 2 questions. Okay, one here, another. Okay, ladies only, what's with the gentlemen? You're not entrepreneurs. Okay, sure, one.
Thank you. My name is Soina from Kenya, and I have a question. First of all, good job that you're doing. I'm in the climate change space. So you mentioned that the raw materials is majorly maize husk. I don't know if, don't you think that is limiting? Maybe we may not have enough maize husk to produce maybe enough fabric that we can all use as we dump the unsustainable fashion way to sustainable fashion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Charles, go on.
Awesome. So hi, Anita. Thank you, the Green MP. So here's the thing, right? Maize is the most grown crop, not only in Africa, but globally, right? If you move past the metropolitan area of Nairobi, you'll realize that maize is really grown from places like Nakuru to all the way to Kitale, that's in Kenya. So I feel like the question of running out of raw materials, yes, it's valid, but then to that we respond, maize, we are starting with maize husk, but we're working with a couple of crops, right? So from maize husk to, interestingly, sugarcane bagasse to pineapple leaves, and we are starting to explore how we are able to turn water hyacinth now into fabric. Why we started with maize husk was because of the impact that comes with maize husk, because if you're essentially buying the maize residue from smallholder farmers, you are able to now pay them for that, for what is essentially waste. So we are looking at it as a point of what more can we do than just now create the fabric? And we saw the opportunity to now enable farmers to earn more, so creating impact not only in the fashion industry, but also in the agricultural space. So
Thank you,
yes.
Charles. The second question was the same as the first one, so I will allow, really? Okay, one more.
No, just before he goes, I think since you're doing research, I live in West Africa, we have a lot of coconut husk waste. So perhaps something to look at as you're looking at how to build the fabric. Yeah.
Awesome, Leah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Charles, for that wonderful presentation. We are going to have our last presentation for the day. Before that, I would just like to pass some information. People are getting interested in the Youth Enterprise Awards. It's currently closed, but follow YouLead, follow MSTCDC on all their social media platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. You will be able to get a notification on when the calls to the application is open. Also, you can go to the YouLead website, register, and you will get updates, constant updates via their emails. Are we ready for the last presenter? All right, so we are going to Rwanda. My Rwanda people, where are you? So, Bruce, are you online? I see you already online. Bruce, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Okay, sure. Up next is Bruce Mutangana, who is the founder and CEO of Famoja. Bruce, you're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to present to you Famoja. Famoja is an agri-tech startup company that operates in Rwanda, and we are the first one to manufacture agri-tech tools in sub-Saharan Africa. Meet John. John is a horticultural farmer in Rwamagana district in Rwanda, and John grows green pepper in greenhouses. Unfortunately, John doesn't know the right amount of water to apply to his crops. John spends 6 hours daily in his greenhouse to make sure that he's looking on the water to apply. He produces 30% underproduction based on the waste he used in his greenhouse. He even used 2/3 liters of fuel for irrigation pumping. And you know, what I'm telling you is not about John alone. It's about 2 million farmers in Rwanda who face similar challenges like John. In Africa, we have 33 million farmers. This market is valued 8.5 million in Rwanda, 3.3 billion in Africa, and 111.8 billion across the globe. This has informed our decision on the solution we need to provide. This is a water resource management device that we have manufactured, Farmer V1. It measures soil moisture content, temperature, evapotranspiration by using soil moisture sensor, temperature sensor, and also we have the ability to automate irrigation system. I'm sure that you are looking it on the screen, and we use a renewable energy, as you can see some solar panels above there. That means farmers like John don't have to spend all that time in farm and can be able to use the technology and use precision farming to increase their production in terms of quality and quantity. So far, we have other people who are providing similar solutions like CropX, Rainbird. Unfortunately, they are foreign companies and their solution is too expensive for local market and local farmers. So far, as an early stage startup, we have sold 26 devices, equivalent to 2,600 USD. One device costs us 57.1 to manufacture. We sell it at 100 US dollar, and a farmer pays a 10% deposit as a pre-order. The way we use is a prepayment or pre-order and also installment. We use an installment to help them get it more affordable. A farmer pays 10%, as I said. After we deliver, after 2 weeks, we deliver and he pays 40%. And after 1 month, he pays the remaining 50%. Our target
Bruce,
market.
Bruce, you are in control of your slides, so please keep switching your slides.
Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can, but you're not switching them. Maybe you want it that way, but we need information for the audience.
Okay, I was switching them. I don't know if you can see them. So I'm on financial model. Can you see that?
Nope.
Oh, okay, let me see. Can you see them like right now?
Nope. Okay, in the interest of time, we could
Okay,
go
cool.
ahead. If we have
Can you see
partners who
them?
are interested, we will share that. Please go on. We can't see it, but in the interest of time, please go forward. We will share your slides with any party that is interested.
Absolutely. I was saying about the model that we are using. They are like we are using prepayment and also installment, because a farmer pays 10% for our device before we deliver. When you deliver after 2 weeks, he pays 40%, and then after 1 month, he pays the remaining 50%. All this we do it to make it more affordable and accessible to farmers. If everything goes well, as on my side, I can see financial projections. We are expecting to get a revenue of 4 million USD in 3 years with a profit of 1.8 million USD. We are the right team to provide this solution. I wish you could see my slides because I, Bruce Mutangan, myself, I'm an agriculture engineer. My co-founder, Benjamin Gisa, he's an agriculture conservationist. Lambert Rulindana, who is helping us, he's an electronics engineer. Fidel Nitanga, he's an irrigation engineer. And also Florence Mohoza, he's an agriculture economist doing her PhD in at Texas University. She's helping us through business development. We are partnering with Rwanda Agriculture Board and even Fab Lab. Rwanda Agriculture Board, they are helping us into mobilization and bringing awareness about the solution we are providing to Rwandan farmers, and also Fab Lab Fabrication Laboratory, they are helping us through product development. At this moment, we are here to request for 75,000 USD. That can help us through mass production because we have a waiting market demand. Also on research development, as we are developing latest technology. The other is about sales and marketing, and also helping us through operations. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to hear from you. We have
a round of applause. So we'll have our last 2 questions for the day. Okay, one, another. You want to go? Sure, okay. I'm coming through. But before that, just a quick one. For entrepreneurs, people who want to join entrepreneurship, never get to a point where you feel like you don't want to share your idea simply because you think it might be stolen, okay? It's a very mediocre way of thinking as a novice in the entrepreneurship world, because the more you share your idea, the more you mold it into the best, at least in my experience. At one point, I wouldn't want to talk about it so much, but it would keep me in a bubble. So share your idea with whoever asks you about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Bruce. My name is Amanya Stewart from Kampala, Uganda. In your presentation, you are referring to a John. So imagine I'm a John from Uganda. I'm a small-scale carrot grower. You're saying that earn more with less, but you're selling your prototype at 100,000 USD. So just imagine how many youth here can afford 100,000 USD. How have you made it affordable and cheaper for a youth down deep in Kampala who is growing carrots and wants to use this prototype? Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you for a great question. And it's really critical based on like small scale farmers and their way to afford like services as I'm saying. But so far you've realized that we try to make it into installment to make it more affordable at this moment. But again, it's a call I need to make to other like action takers into agriculture sector, because there's like even like financial entities, because I realized that so far we cannot work alone, because we are looking even a way to partner with even people who can be able to subsidize our service. But so far, compared to other like service solutions that are on the market. As I mentioned, other foreign companies, our selling price is still even low. But again, as you mentioned, it's a call to more other partners to see the way we can be able to make even our service more affordable to many people around us. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. We have our next question here.
Hi, Bruce. My name is Christine Magoma from Kenya, Nairobi. So my question is towards you as well as towards everyone who has pitched and presented what they had to present. So from your presentation, Bruce, you have an agriculture conservationist, and we hear that we have a gap in terms of getting investors to invest in these businesses. What kind of research informs the projects and the businesses that you're implementing? And have you looked into partnering with, for example, the African Development Bank, because we had an issue raised concerning climate change issues, yet there's research reports out there that address climate change, and we have Anita in the room. So research really is important into the long-term vision for these kinds of entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. This is very technical. I don't know if you're prepared for it, but let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I caught her well, but I don't know if she's asking about the partnership or looking for more people to fund kind of our ventures. Yeah, as you're saying, this is why we are here. We are calling many people to come and partner with us because we have realized the problem. We even thought about the solution. We even moved ahead to manufacture the product. So we are calling those organizations to come and partner with us to bring that solution to life and even impact many people around us. So far, we have people that we have partnered with, the organization. As I mentioned, we are working with government entities that are helping us even bringing that awareness, but also non-government organization. So far, we have an organization that we are working with called Alan and Jill Gray Philanthropy. So they are the first people that have trusted what we are doing, but also I'm calling for more people to come and work with us, not only me, but even other entrepreneurs, other young entrepreneurs in the room. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. A round of applause to Bruce Mutangana from Rwanda. So that was our last pitch. Very impressive solutions here, but can we give them a great shout with the YouLead song? What do you think? Can we do the YouLead song? Okay, team, can we go? Very interesting. Okay, let's go. If you want to stand, if you want to sit, whichever way you want to do it, let's go. Get your jackets off. Let's just hype this room right now. Let's go. Let me see your hands in the air. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
So you lead, I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We lead, we lead. Let your dream be a reality.
Right, let's go. This is the YouLead. Let's go.
Let your dream be a reality.
Young energy, guys. Let's go.
Together we shape young men and women. With the pillars, with the future. Here we are. Let's join together. With ability to change communities. With love, with peace. To respond to our need. To call for unity. Africa, hear me cry. Never leave me alone. As I see light in a brighter future. Let's join hands for youth and women. Let's join hands for youth and women.
I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We lead,
let's go.
We lead, let your dream be a reality. We lead, we lead, let your dream be a reality.
Yeah, vijana wa Afrika
wote waungana, vijana vijana kutoka mashariki, magharibi, kaskazini na kusini, hata na kati, twaja pamoja ili tufanye nini?
We lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We lead, we lead. Let your dream be our reality. We lead, we lead. Let your dream be our reality. Hello, Kujani. So much
What a wonderful crowd. You lead, you clap for yourselves, guys. I heard somebody saying, you lead, we wanna. Let's go, you lead. Control room, can you handle this crowd? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alfredo Pio. I'm the founder and CEO at Kano Africa. Thank you for being a good audience. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. Just imagine, seed fund in 2020, and now amazing work, and is supporting others to also be like or even better than him. Let's give them another hand clap. So we are still looking for money to support these ideas. But as you can see, some have already got interested partners. And that's why we said, even though we don't have money in the bank, let's give them an opportunity to show what they want to do. Ronnie is going to, he's thinking about it. So we will embark on a journey of supporting them to get in touch with venture capital investors from today going forward. Now, we are certainly running behind schedule. I beg your indulgence that we just do the remaining two main things, and we have our tea and go and rest, yeah? And there are two important things. One is just, she's been here, you know? She hasn't said hello to you. I know you will be in a panel in the next few minutes, but would you like to say hello to your fellow youngsters just now? And then you will be joining Leah in a panel later. And the last thing we'll do, please come, yes. The last thing we'll do, Leah has promised me, and she's a woman of her word, that she's going to make it as brief as a briefcase. Okay? My dear sister, our first daughter, she's gonna say hello to you now, and she'll be on the panel, but I would also like you, just what do you think about these ideas that came? I know you are into youth and innovation, but before she comes to speak to you, I want to also let you know that as part of Leah's panel, we'll be launching the African Youth Business Council with the Commissioner for Trade Development. I would need to look at, it's a very long title, African Union Commission Trade Commissioner in charge of Trade Development and Enterprise. He will be joining us to close this forum, and we will be launching the Business Council with him, and hopefully our minister will come, but she's still in the Yala session. If not, she will see us tomorrow morning. I'm sorry for kicking here, but please greet your comrades.
Thank you, Ivan. We can appreciate Ivan. Good afternoon, comrades. Mko salama? Kabisa. How many Kenyans are here? Okay, sir. Ugandans? Rwandese? Burundians? South Sudan? Nigerians? Cameroon? So Africa is well represented, basically, sindio? Before I go too far, I first wanted to convene greetings from our President of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and First Lady. They sent their greetings to the youth at the YouLead Summit this time. I informed them I was coming, and they're both big youth champions in our country, so they said I say hi, so hi. Hi from the President and First Lady. Thank you so much. I also really wanted to thank my primary school friend. She's called Marie Kimani. She's the one who informed me about this event. She's one of our youth leaders back in Kenya. I didn't know about the YouLead Summit until she told me about it a few weeks ago, and I got very interested, and that's when she connected me to Mulobi Robot. So thanks Mulobi, and Mulobi connected me to Stella, and that's how I came here this day and to be with you for the next few days. So before again I continue, I wanted to introduce quickly my team from Kenya. So I'll start with the back. So this is Mike Sagana. He's one of my team members. He's a politician and he's my principal advisor in my team. And this is Jermaine Momanyi. He's the head of trade and investments at the Office of the First Daughter. And this is I don't get what's funny. So this is Zach Mosabi. He's a youth director at, okay. This is Zach Mosabi. He's a youth director at our ruling party, UDA. And part of our team is, of course, Anita Soina, our Green MP from Kenya. We work together with her when it comes to matters climate change. So because I'll share my thoughts now, I won't be on the panel because the main reason I came for this conference is I wanted to sit and listen and know the challenges we face as youth and be a part of the solution. So we started on Sunday, right? I was to come from Sunday, but on Sunday we were having our India Gala for the Pan-African Congress of Kenya, of which I'm a proud member, and they also sent their greetings to you. And on Monday, which was yesterday, our country was celebrating 59 years. That was our Jamhuri Day. So that's why also I couldn't come. I went for our national celebrations. And this year was very unique. And for the first time in history, we had a theme of tech and innovation that was spearheaded by our president. So the week before we had the Kenya Innovation Week, I know someone talked about it in their presentation, and we also had tech and innovation at one of our main halls in Kenya. So basically youth were coming to show innovations in tech, and this is something our president is very passionate about, and so am I. So we had an innovative and tech week, and then now we've come to culminate it with the YouLead Summit. So I think that was a really good coincidence. And also yesterday, one of our Kenyans, Nelly Cheboy, she is CNN Hero of the Year. She works with schools, she works with our rural schools to give them computers and give them access to digital knowledge, and she even does it from her own pocket, which I think is so commendable. So I'd like us to give her a round of applause as one of our youth entrepreneurs. Yeah, thank you. As I've sat and listened today, I think we're coming up with very practical solutions to the challenges we face as African youth, and that is something I love about this forum. I've not yet seen it anywhere else. We've already talked with our sister Christine, and she had talked about the youthful language when it comes to the AFTA agreement. And when I talked with her on the side, we agreed through my foundation, the Charlene Ruto Foundation, and in partnership with her, we're going to create youthful language for the AFTA agreement. I feel we don't have to wait for an official and national thing to happen. Already the agreement exists. We'll go pick from it. And for us back in Kenya, our youthful language is Sheng. We're going to translate it to Sheng, and we'll go to the different areas in Kenya to talk to our youth about it. So I challenge the rest of us from other countries to do the same. We can't wait for the systems and everything to come into place first. Let's do our part. Let's be active about it. I also loved what our brother from Tanzania talked about, having practical sessions and having the right people in the right forum and that kind of engagement. And I took them, I think every day I used to go to the YouLead Summit website to read and understand what this conference is about. And I'm hoping next year we can have this conference in Kenya so that we can have more youth from all of East Africa participating. And I want to commit that if it will be in Kenya next year, my foundation will be one of the sponsors of the event. Thank you. It's coming home, good. I also wanted to recognize the president of the University of Nairobi, and thank you for being an active youth and for being a solution to our youth. When it comes to the ideas that were shared this afternoon, I'm really amazed by the idea of the sweet potato flour. Where is the gentleman who shared about it from Burundi? Yeah, thank you so much. Part of what my foundation does, we do food donations. We recently did one in one of the slum areas in Kenya. On Sunday, we are doing another one. I wish through the AFTA agreement, we could have your flour coming into the country so that we can donate the food. So we'd like to buy your flour in many kilos so that we can take it to our villages. So please, after this, talk to our trade and investments gentleman, yeah, so that we can do it. Sawa. Yeah, don't think of your market being only Burundi. Think outside of Burundi for your market. Then we can give it to our kids and to our families in Kenya. Last but not least, our brother from YouLead. Where is he? Emmanuel. Oh, hi, Emmanuel. We'd like to connect you to the Visa Regional Manager so that you can continue the conversation about YouLead going out of the school and out to the rest of the community. So after this, yeah, she's a good friend of ours. So after this, please see Jermaine, our head of trade and investment, so that we can organize the meeting. And I'll make sure I'll be there in the meeting also to enhance what you're doing. So I think with that, that's just part of the practical solutions I wanted to offer. But in summary, I'm a youth champion in our country. I'm a climate change action champion in our country. So I'm so happy to be here and to interact with each and every one of you. I've met quite a number when we were outside in the corridors. We've talked, we've exchanged cards, and I'm hoping from there we'll continue having meaningful conversations for the better of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. I think she deserves a much bigger hand clap, yeah? Thank you very, very much. Kenya, we move it. Kenya, East Africa, and Africa. Hallelujah. Okay, now Leah is in the studio. I think we need to move fast. She's a very precise lady. She's been patient and wonderful business leader, nuggets of wisdom and experience. So I want to really give you the opportunity to lead us into the next session.
Thank you so much. A hand for Ivan and a hand for our first daughter. That's like exemplary leadership. Yeah. So I'm going to introduce myself first, and then I'll call my panelists. I know some of you have asked Leah. Yeah, hold on.
Sorry, our lovely minister is here to greet us. Yes. So before Leah takes us to the next level, and I'm telling you, it's going to be the next level, so we can receive our minister to greet us. And there are a few things I agreed with her that are very important for this forum. So listen properly and make your demand, okay? Yes. Honorable Minister, Cabinet Secretary, you are most welcome. Because we know you have a very busy schedule, I just want to introduce to you briefly the people who are here, and then welcome you to greet your young generation. We have Mr. David Onen, is just here behind the speaker. the political affairs, senior political affairs, principal political affairs officer in the East African Community Headquarters, Secretariat. Hey, you feel free. Feel free. I had a chance to have a side meeting with the good cabinet secretary, and she's so passionate about youth. So we have our lovely first daughter, Shireen Ruto. We have, always my boss. My boss, you will welcome the minister, if you don't mind. Miss McKenna Mobobia, she's like us. She just disappears. Yeah, she's the executive director at the Training Center for Development Cooperation, and she's the reason largely this is happening because of her commitment and support. We have distinguished partners and leaders, youth members of parliament, Tanzania, I don't remember the names, but please.
Good evening. I'm Nusrat Hanje, a member of Parliament of United Republic of Tanzania, representing youth. And I'm very passionate about youth agendas. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very friend of youth, good friend of youth, Mr. John Bosco Karisa, the CEO of the East African Business Council. If you had a chance to say one word to the cabinet secretary, please, the things we are struggling with.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Again, I would like to welcome the cabinet secretary. I met her in her office in Nairobi, and I congratulated her. But she has a very strong passion about trade and integration. But above all, youth in business, youth in innovation. He's a driver, and I want to change. So she's very committed, and that's why she's here, but she's very committed to support us. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. We have Mr. Ronnie Murungu. He's our partner and regional director for Africa and Middle East International Youth Foundation. And Miss Yafika, Miss Yafika, Yafu, the name so, Yafika.
Good evening. My name is Yafika Chitanda. I'm representing the AFCFTA Secretariat. Thank you.
Yeah, she's under the weather a bit, but as I briefed you earlier, the Secretary General of the AFCFTA Continental Secretariat loves the youth to be the drivers of the AFCFTA, and he always loves to be with us, but this time they are into negotiations. He sent us 2 staff. One has been with us last week for the boot camp. The other came to be with us for the week of the summit, Yafika. And of course, the one who brought you, my dear sister, will come. But finally, allow me to also say that the African Union Continental Secretariat of the APRM mechanism is here. I don't know if Lennon, you are somewhere near, but the AU is also with us to make sure that this is scaled up to the continental level. Allow me to welcome Ms. Mobobia, my dear sister, Pamela. Although she came with you, I want you to know that she's supporting us a lot. She was with us yesterday the whole day, and today she would have been with us, but she has, as you know, processes going on. You're most welcome. We thank you so much. Pamela is the member of East African Legislative Assembly for Tanzania. Yeah, we thank you so much.
Yes. Good evening. I just wanted to inform you, those who are asking about the issues of the laws and the bills which we are passing in our assembly. The main people who are responsible in assenting the laws are the council members, and Madam Miano is among the people who will be championing any any law which is being passed by IALA. So you young generation, you need to talk very, in a very, whatever language to make sure that we push our agenda through the champions of the young generation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So in the interest of time, allow me to invite Ms. Mobobia, our Mother Africa, to welcome the minister on behalf of the partnership putting this summit together.
Thank you, Ivan. Good evening, everybody. Is that how you want us to welcome the minister? Good evening, everybody. That's it. Honorable Rusmiana, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Rebecca, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the 6th edition of YouLead. Just look at me. I'm actually on the 6th floor, plus I'm the director at MSTCDC. I work with the young people behind the curtains that we want to work as a team in collaboration, in the integration, and in making Africa the young people want. They have said it, they want to be in the spaces, they want to be part of the solutions, they want to be heard, but also they want to be the innovators. You've just missed a wonderful sessions. We just had like 4 young people pitch practical solutions that would get Africa to another level, either in terms of health from Southern Sudan, Kenya, where they're making fabric from maize and other materials, Burundi, where they're doing a sweet potato flour because there are sugar complications. Those of us who do not know, sugar is not very good, is one of the ingredients that contributes to cancer. So just forget about the sugar, we move to the others. And there was one more on the Wally card. So there's a lot the young people are doing. And so we want to say, Honorable Minister, so we are so proud that it's a young woman coming, and it's a young woman who is going to make it happen for us. It is my pleasure to say, I call you a young woman with all the due respect, with where I'm coming. And from just when Charlene was in the floor, I think this is what we want to see in Africa. Is yesterday we were told that the leadership in Africa is 55 and above, and see me 60 and above and on the floor. My time is over, but my time is over because we have enough experience to put on the tables to move us to another level. So I just want to say, Asante Sana, we are over 30-something countries, 45 countries represented from all over Africa. By yesterday, we had over 8 countries from the other parts of the world that have joined us for this great week. So we started Sunday, yesterday, today we are here, tomorrow we'll be here in the morning on climate peace, in the afternoon on gender, and then Thursday the team will be back because we'll be rolling the 2023 outcomes. And Shireen Ruto has already picked issues that and our foundation are going to take across. And so these are the partnerships we are looking for. So without saying much, I just want to say, Karibu Sana, the floor is yours. Take us to the next level that we want to be. God bless you.
May I say good evening? Good evening, all the phenomenal women and young men in this room. How are you today? I am glad to be here, and the reason I am here, when I arrived yesterday and I was checking social media, I saw something trending, YouLead. So there I was, I didn't have an invitation. I noticed it, so in the morning I told my team, whatever this is, find out how I can get there. I didn't even know it's in the same building, so that's why I am here. Secondly, I am a former youth. So I really know what it is to be
in the youth stage of life, but differently. I was a youth in a different time without all the privileges that you have now. We didn't have internet, no mobile phones, and many other things. I see some of you checking, Kwani, how old is she? But it's a reality. I am very passionate about the youth, and being where you are, you have a golden opportunity to do your best, bring out your best, and just unleash your potential, because you have everything that you need. If you don't do it now, life moves so fast. When you're older or very old, you will not have the energy, you will not have the opportunity, you will not have the beauty, the handsomeness that you have now. So take it that you have everything at your disposal, and therefore do everything that you've always wanted. I believe that the young people are the leaders, not the leaders of the future, but the leaders of now. You must take it up and lead. And for us who are before you or ahead of you, all we have to provide for you is opportunities, the right environment, and role modeling, and give you the lessons of life. That is what we owe you. And that's why yesterday when I learned that this is going on, I said I will go into that room and encourage you, wish you all the best, and also bless you. So I wish you all the best for the remaining period. My role, as Mheshimiwa has said, the honorable member, is to support your agenda. I am in the Council of Ministers. I will look out for your agenda so that when it comes before us, we can look at it favorably, efficiently, so that you are not derailed by our part. So I want to extend my support, and together with the Council of Ministers. So greetings from Kenya, and I'm very happy to see everybody, and particularly the Kenyans, and we look forward to working together. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leah is going to give us the last bit, and then also our lovely minister will sit in a bit to see what we are talking about. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ivan. In my next life, I want to be Ivan. He's very diplomatic. He knows how to talk very well to everybody, and he knows how to make things happen. So I hope the gentleman who was asking about implementers has seen that we have implementers, and implementation is happening right at this moment. So my name is Leah Nduati, and I'm borrowing from Ms. Mobobia's statement yesterday. I'm an African citizen who lives in Ghana. I was born in Kenya. So in 2009, I got an opportunity to go to West Africa to work. I was working in Kenya in one of the big advertising firms, Ogilvy and Mather, and I got an opportunity to go to Ghana for one of our clients who was now setting up in Ghana. For those of you from Nigeria, you know Silverbird. So as I was leaving, my mom was like, why don't you go to UK? Why don't you go to Germany? Why are you going to West Africa? This was 2009. And the proliferation of media, digital access was not there. So all we knew about West Africa is, anybody can say? If you're from East Africa, what did we know about West Africa? Juju, yes. What else? Okay, we didn't know jollof rice. We didn't. We knew juju, we knew con men, and we knew drugs. And this was really horrible. So my mom hearing that I'm going to West Africa to work there, she was very scared. But something in me wanted to explore Africa. So I found myself in Ghana, setting up a whole department at a Global Media Alliance for cinema advertising. And then after a year, I set up my own business. I went into entrepreneurship because I saw an opportunity. So my business was called Bold Media Management, and I was doing communication consulting. I studied communication and economics at the University of Nairobi. So our alumni are here. So I started doing consulting and helping brands and businesses grow themselves, get themselves known, and most importantly, like Alfred said, make revenue. Because if you're not making revenue, you're not doing anything. Like, we are all young people, so if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So after that, in consultation, yes. So the most important thing is to keep talking, right? Keep talking about what you're doing. So I kept talking about Kenya because at that time, and those of you who have been to Ghana before, let's say 2014, 2015, if you went to the supermarket, you find milk from Belgium, from France. You will not find milk from anywhere in Africa. You'll find everything is imported from Europe, but nothing from Africa. And I was coming from Kenya. We drink fresh milk, we have the best sausages, no offense to anybody, but yeah, so we produce a lot in Kenya. And so there was a lot of cognitive dissonance going on. And so everybody at meet, I'll be like, how come you import all these things? In Kenya this, in Kenya that. Even with my clients, I'll be complaining, in Kenya we drink property, because there they were drinking Lipton, which is like super diluted. So in these conversations and in continuing to do my consultation, one day I got a call from one of my clients who was close to the presidency at the time. And so he said, listen, the president of Ghana is going to Kenya. And that was in 2014. And this would be the first visit by a Ghanaian president to Kenya since Kwame Nkrumah in 2014. So you can imagine, since independence, in 2014 would have the first presidential visit from Ghana to Kenya. And then they asked me, like, could you do a brief, like, what is he going to talk about with the president, like the president of Ghana going to the president of Kenya, what kind of topics could they talk about? And so here I was like, I'm just a communication consultant. How do I write a brief about a president going to see another president? But then I sat with them and I wrote a short brief. The president at the time was President John Mahama. So I wrote a brief for him, like just the topics that he could cover or what he could look at when he comes to Kenya and talks to President Kenya. So yeah, long story short, in 2014, the president of Ghana came to Kenya and they hit it off, and some trade agreements were signed. So the trade agreements were signed, and this was music to my ears because it meant now there could be trade between Kenya and Ghana, and now I could start seeing milk and tea and everything from Kenya, and also Kenyans could start seeing produce from Ghana. So after a while, that was in 2014, I was waiting to see the action. I was waiting. There was little action, so to speak. So that was in 2015, I got a call from Ministry of Agriculture in Kenya. And they said, oh, we are coming to Ghana to pursue the trade agreement. So the trade agreements were 7, and they covered different sectors, including agriculture, education, ICT. So the Ministry of Agriculture, I guess, took the first step. And so they made a call, and I was called to help them to set up a trade exhibition in Ghana where they could connect with Ministry of Agriculture in Ghana. So I liaised with Ministry of Agriculture in Ghana, Ministry of Agriculture in Kenya, and we set up this beautiful exhibition, and we had people coming from Kenya, the whole ministry, the government, and they came, and they did the exhibition. That was in May 2015. But what they did not factor in were the business people. So now we had Ministry of Agriculture from Kenya talking to Ministry of Agriculture from Ghana, but nobody from the business sector was there to benefit from the trade agreements, which are actually for the business people. So this was very disheartening to me. And in that May, I said in December, before December, I will host a trade expo, and I will bring business people from Kenya to Ghana, and I will get Ghanaian business people to talk to business people from Kenya. And in November of 2015, we launched the first Kenya Trade Expo in Ghana. And at that time, because I was very feisty, I got the president of Ghana to come and open my Kenya Trade Expo in Ghana. And I got a good delegation from Ghana and Kenya. And this is what brought me into the trade space from the communication space. And so, yeah, that was my second venture. And so from there, we continued to support businesses that were coming into Kenya from Ghana and vice versa, and doing the business to business matching. But then at the end of 2016, government changed. Yeah? And what happens when government changes? Things change, so to speak. That's what they say. But if you continue with your passion and what you believe in, because by this time I had children, and my children were half Ghanaian, half Kenyan. And so the mission was bigger than myself. The mission was for my children to be able to enjoy Africa the way they want. For my children to be able to say, I'm tired of doing business in Ghana today. I want to go and do business in Burkina Faso. And they should be able to do that. So the mission became bigger. And so we had to keep going. And luckily, because you keep talking about what you're doing until you irritate people with it, one of my clients again called me and said, oh, you are doing this Kenya Expo thing. My tenant is now the Minister for Business Development. And that was in the new government. And he said, let me introduce you, you can have a meeting. So we went and met the Minister for Business Development in the new government of our current president in Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, Nana Akufo-Addo. And this Minister of Business Development bought into the passion or the idea and agreed to endorse the second Kenya Trade Expo in Ghana. Not only that, he agreed to come with me to Kenya to talk to the business community in Kenya and mobilize them and excite them about coming to invest in Ghana. And so in 2017, I was in Kenya with the Minister of Business Development, and we went to the Capital Club to talk to the big boys, and then we also met with a lot of entrepreneurship support organizations so that we could understand how we can support young entrepreneurs to grow their business. Okay, so he supported me in that. And just to add, I'm not a diplomat. I do not have any diplomatic tags. So I had to do a lot of hard lobbying, a lot of door knocking, a lot of persistence calling. Some people, I decided that every morning they'll receive a text from me by 6 a.m. I don't care. So by 6 a.m., you get that text, you get that text, you get that text, until the point where you cannot resist me anymore. You just have to answer me, because I'll call you. If you don't answer, I'll text you. I called you yesterday. I want to talk about this. By the next time, you will answer. So in trying to build credibility, I also had to meet with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So please note, at this whole time, we did not have an embassy. We did not have a Kenyan embassy in Ghana. So there was no government representation. So I became the Kenya woman. This is what they call the Kenyan woman. So what I did, I decided that we are going to meet the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I don't care how we are going to do it, but we are going to do it. So at that time, we had an older gentleman called Mr. Njero, who was the chairman, de facto chairman of the Kenyan community. And I used to deputize him because we used to bring Kenyans together just to, bring ourselves together. And so I told him that we are going to meet the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And we pushed and we pushed and we pushed, and we got a meeting. So we got some of the business community, the Kenyans who had invested in Ghana, and we went and we met the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And she said, this is the first time a community with no diplomatic representation has come to see her and plead their case. And she said that she's gonna make sure that we get an embassy because of all this effort, that we get an embassy in Ghana. So fast forward, we had our second expo in 2017. And just to give you a brief about entrepreneurship hardship, our expo was slated for after election. So our elections in 2017 were supposed to happen in August. So because of the success of the first expo, we had lined up a lot of businesses, they were coming, a lot of government officials, they were coming. Everybody was ready from Kenya to come. But they just tell you, just after the election, let's finish the election. So the election was supposed to happen, and then the people were supposed to come. And the election happened. And Kenyans know what happened after the 2017 election. They were annulled. And so all the people who had committed to come, especially the government officials, could not come. because there was a ban on travel for government officials by the president. And then there was uncertainty for the business community. They didn't know what was going to happen. Now, this was the expo that was supposed to break me even, because the first one I invested a lot, my partner and I. So here we were, we've already planned, we've communicated, we've told everybody the expo is happening, it's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be better, you know, than the first one. The Kenyans are coming. We had done videos, we had done some bilateral meetings before. I had gone with the minister to Kenya in partnership with the ambassador from Ghana to Kenya. And now we were at this point where, are we going to cancel the expo or we're going to continue? And we couldn't cancel because we had invested too much. So we just mobilized whoever could come. And I want to recognize some business people, especially the chairperson at that time of the KCCI, the Kenya Commerce of Chamber and Industries, because he made sure that he came. We had a private sector participant. I don't know how many of you know Cellulant. The chairperson of Cellulant also came to the program. So they gave legitimacy. And then from the government of Ghana, they made sure that Minister of Trade was there. There was a lot of representation from the government. And so because the drive is there, the passion is there, they came and they supported. And we had the second Kenya Trade Expo successfully, not financially successfully, but successfully all the same. And that is how we've been having conversations until now in terms of how to bring trade between Kenya and Ghana. At that time, there was no AFCFTA. It was nowhere to be found. At that time, we had tried to get Africa Union, but you know, like if you don't have any diplomatic tag, you will not be listened to in the same way. And then you're also young, and then you're also a woman. So you are just the noisy, this stubborn girl. So either we give her what we want or we ignore her. So I feel that at this point where we are, because we finally did get our Kenya High Commission in Ghana, and yesterday, which was Jamhuri Day, we were actually hosting the Kenyan tea company Ketepa. They were doing their launch for their products, which are now in Ghana. Yes. And our president, Dr. Ruto, flagged off tea to Kenya. We flagged off Kenyan batteries to Ghana. And so now that dream that was just a few years back is reality. Yeah. Yeah. And today, we are sitting here with ministers who are taking time to come and talk to us. We are sitting here with the AFCFTA, taking time to come and talk to us, with the EABC, taking time to come and talk to us and listen to us. Yeah, Mr. John has sat here since morning. He's listening to what we are saying. So there is no excuse. There's no excuse. We can no longer say government needs to do. You start doing, government will see you and will come where you are. Great. So moving on, now that we have an embassy, I'm passing on the Kenya Trade Expo to them. That's actually their business, so they do that. In 2019, I joined an organization called Growth Africa, which is an accelerator program. Somebody mentioned hubs. So an accelerator program is where we support companies to scale up and access investment. So Growth Africa is one of the companies that we talked to during the expo, and I set them up in Ghana and I ran them for 3 years. So we are there. And then after Growth Africa, I joined the African Leadership Group. Please, Lennon asked you earlier that you have your notebooks. Kindly write down African Leadership Group. That's where I work right now. And the founder of the African Leadership Group is Fred Swanika. Yes. If you do not know Fred Swanika, kindly Google him today. So the role of the African Leadership Group is to build 3 million ethical leaders by 2030. And at the African Leadership Group, I run an accelerator called the New Market Accelerator. I support companies to go into new countries. So from supporting Kenyan companies to go into Ghana, I now support several companies to go to different West African markets. And since I have the mic, I just want to mention the companies that I'm working with right now. Kindly Google them because we are talking about tech, and we work with tech and tech-enabled businesses. So we have Farmerline. Anybody know Farmerline? Farmerline are from Ghana. They are the Amazon for African farmers. These are companies that have grown and raised investments. We are supporting them to go into Cote d'Ivoire, into Benin and Togo. And then we have Coolbox. Anybody heard of Coolbox? Coolbox is a solar-powered refrigerator that you pay as you go. So for companies that do not have access to electricity, the small mom and pop shops that cannot refrigerate their sodas, they buy this refrigerator and they pay small. That's what we say in Ghana, small, in West Africa. So you can pay as you go. It's connected to your mobile money, so the deductions happen and you don't feel the effect, as a small business owner. Then we have Touch and Pay. Nigerians, have you heard of Touch and Pay? So Touch and Pay, gosh, okay. So we are talking about tech digital access. Touch and Pay is digitizing microtransactions. So they have a card like Wally card, but they are from Nigeria. And with that Wally card, you can go into a matatu, public transport, any public transport, use that card to pay. And they've done that. They've partnered with Lagos Transport System. So they're also doing it for the ferry. You can Google them. Please write these names down. There's Money Africa. So Money Africa does digital lending. Money Africa is from Nigeria. And so they do digital lending, but for clusters. So you come in a group, then you ask for the financing, you'll get the financing, and your group is going to guarantee for you. And so far they have 99% repayment rate. Can you imagine a lender getting 99% repayment? That's amazing. And then we have Market Force. Anybody know Market Force? Guys, do you know Market Force? Yes, Market Force is from Kenya, and they are B2B retail marketplace. In fact, our president, Dr. William, just recognized them. We'll do it right now. Yes. So Market Force, please Google them. They are really good. We have Power Stove. They're doing electrical stoves. We have Evolve Credit, which does like a platform, digital platform. I just want you to Google them because I want you to see what is happening in Africa in the digital space. Yeah. So they have a lending platform. So this means that if you want to borrow money, everything is digital, including your KYC. You can do it digitally. The lender will manage everything from KYC to giving you the money online. We have Jetstream. They're e-logistics company. They're based in Ghana. We have Cradle, which is e-career guidance and university matching. So you can do everything from application to getting accepted to a university online, and they're out of Kenya. And then we have Tendo. Tendo is drop shipping. I don't know how many of us know drop shipping, but basically anybody can start an online shop without a website, without anything on Tendo. So you go on Tendo, but they're in Ghana now and Nigeria, and we're helping them to go into South Africa. So these are companies also that are looking to expand, which means there's opportunities for you to work with them to get into your markets. And so without further ado, now that I've used that plug to promote my companies, I would like to invite our panelists today so we can quickly discuss about digital access and the future of work. So I'd like to invite to the stage Mr. John Bosco Kalisa, Chief Executive Officer at the East African Business Council. And then I'd like to invite Mr. Alfred Opio, founder and CEO of Kano Africa, who's teaching children how to read within 1 month. I'd like to invite Miss Turamuhawe Joy, if she's here, youth entrepreneur from Uganda. I'd like to invite Ronnie. Okay. Invite Mr. Ronnie Murungu, Regional Director for Africa and Middle East, International Youth Foundation. Great, thank you. And I just want to ambush someone, William, and invite him to the panel. Yes. Yes, I have ambushed him for a reason, but I hear that the minister wants to say goodbye to us before we get into a debate or discussion. So please, Honorable Ms. Miano, I'll invite you to say goodbye.
Thank you. I was told I did not introduce myself. My name is Rebecca Miano. I am the Cabinet Secretary in charge of East Africa Community, arid and semi-arid lands and regional development in Kenya. And the reason I am here is to attend the parliamentary sessions for the IALA, but youth is a significant business in everything we do. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the sessions. See you. Thank you. And
so
well
much.
done.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much, Ms. Miano. We did have a boot camp before this summit, and I'm sure the outcomes will be shared. Am I going to fall? I'm okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we need mics. I'm just going to give everybody a minute to introduce themselves and what they do.
Great, thank you very much. Good evening, colleagues. My name is Ronnie Murungu. I'm the Regional Director for Africa and Middle East with International Youth Foundation, which is an organization that works to promote youth entrepreneurship, youth engagement in national processes, and also changing systems to make sure that they are pro-youth. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Leah. My name is Alfred Opio once again. I'm the founder and CEO at Kano Africa, where we are leveraging on technology to build mobile solutions that can enable the children in sub-Saharan Africa learn how to read and write in a short time of just 1 month. We felt like it's the only way to empower the African youth to be more skilled and to be more literate by solving the biggest problem that Africa has ever had. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm John Bosco Kalisa. I'm the CEO of East African Business Council. We are the regional private sector apex body representing interests of the private sector, but more importantly, recently we've established a youth and women platform. And I want all the youth who are here to check EABC My Isoko. My Isoko means my market. It is a platform where youth and women can showcase their goods, their services. There is also an academy. There's a window in terms of training. We are also empowering youth in terms of having the knowledge that is required by our market. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joy Tiramhawe, a delegate from Uganda. I'm the founder and CEO of CJ Home Solutions. It's a cleaning business that is currently based in Uganda, and we're looking to expand to East Africa soon. And I'm also a social media influencer and media consultant, also in Uganda.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thought I could get with not speaking at this event. But my name is William Awomayi. I'm the UK's Young Ambassador to the Commonwealth. So I represent all UK's young people at the Commonwealth Mission. I was at Chogam in June in Rwanda, where we decided on the Commonwealth Youth Declaration, which is essentially a communique, a pan-Commonwealth communique.
Hold on. Can you guys hear him, or he can speak slower? Yeah, just speak slower because we are not used to the UK accent. Yeah, and tell us your origin. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm the UK's Young Ambassador to the Commonwealth. So I represent all UK young people at the Commonwealth Mission. Originally, I'm from Nigeria, so I'm representing Nigeria here at this event. And I believe it's really important that we get the voices of young people heard as well.
Okay. Did you tell us about your youngest?
Oh, there's a lot.
Just tell us that.
Okay. So I'm also the this year's Diana Award winner. And I got that for my role as the first young mayor of Croydon at the age of 14. So currently I'm 19.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was a mayor at 14. He was a mayor at 14.
So Croydon is a borough in South London. It's a borough that has around 384,000 people and around a population of 100,000 young people. And I ran on the mandate of reducing knife crime in the area. It was very prevalent at that time. Croydon was the borough with the largest amount of knife crime in 2017, but we were able to reduce it in my 2 years of tenure by 15.6%, which ensured that there wasn't as much crime recorded anymore, and the streets were safer.
Can we just clap for him? What were you doing at 14? Yeah, so I brought him here because of also his international experience, and we're talking about digital access. So maybe you could lend some knowledge on what is happening on your side of town. So I want us to start by thinking about, by 2035, Africa will have the largest workforce in the world of 1.1 billion people. But despite this, fewer than a third of Africans have access to broadband connectivity. We're talking about digital access. And then of the 25 least connected countries in the world, 21 are in Africa. 300 million Africans live more than 50 kilometers from fiber or cable connection. I want to hear from you, like the ones in private sector, the ones in foundations, what are we doing to increase digital access? Then our entrepreneurs, what can we do to increase digital access? Mr. John would start. Yeah.
Leah, thank you very much for raising that pertinent question. And indeed, you rightly put it. We are still behind in terms of embracing digital technology in the way we work. But again, during COVID, I always call it CIS, COVID, climate change, and conflict. There is always a lesson to learn. The lesson to learn is that there is a silver lining opportunity. These are opportunities for the youth to innovate, to be creative. I realize that some of the countries, again, as you rightly put it, they always aggregate. I come from Rwanda. You find that 98% of the population have access to internet. And I think the PS, Ebri mentioned it. You know, I have a home, I have a family of 5 people, but the internet per month in Rwanda, just one example, I pay $20 and I get unlimited access to internet. So there are those good case studies that we need to learn and replicate. And I think that is what I was talking today. There is a political will, there is a political commitment. We need to engage the leaders, the private sector and the public sector need to work together. We need to forge a very strong and formidable partnership. That is the way to go to address the digital divide in our continent.
Is there anything going on at the EABC to address this currently?
Yes, what we are doing as an organization, again, when you look at the media platform, EABC is one of the leading voice of the private sector. We've engaged our government. Again, you'll read the report when you look at why among the regional economic communities. And I want to bring to the audience here that among 8 recognized regional economic communities, what we call RECs, East Africa is the most performing RECs. Do you know the reason? One, our leaders have heavily invested in infrastructure. I had colleagues from Kenya. Kenya is leading in terms of infrastructure. In terms of infrastructure, look at the road network. Look at now the digital rollout across the community. Rwanda is doing the same. Uganda is doing the same. So what we do as EABC is the advocacy, is raising the voice of the private sector, the voice of the youth, the voice of women. These are the challenges. These are the daunting challenges that keep us in that abject poverty. But I'm happy that the leaders are listening. The commitment demonstrated by the minister now shows that our leaders want to listen and they work together with the youth, with the private sector, and that's what EABC is doing there. Again, let me mention that why do we talk about digital evolution? Why do we talk about the future of work? Those companies, the companies from the private sector that have embraced digital in their way of working, have improved their revenue, have improved their productivity, have reduced inefficiencies. Let me give you an example that the recent statistics indicate that almost 40% of our production is put into waste. We look at the food, look at whatever we are doing. Look at the time, we always say we have abundance time. You have all that time. So we need to improve, we need to embrace digitization in terms of the way we work. So that is the role of the private sector in terms of raising awareness about the benefit of embracing digital technology and looking at the efficiency gains that emanates by embracing digital evolution.
Yeah.
And again, I give an example of Rwanda, Kenya have done quite commendable work, and other countries are coming to learn from them what they have done differently. The infrastructure, the fiber cable has been rolled out across the country. Even here, United Republic of Tanzania, they have rolled out the fiber cable. So the internet is accessed. But what we are advocating as the EABC, like in the Republic of Tanzania, they have done quite well. The infrastructure has been enhanced, but there are policy constraints. Currently, you find that we impose VAT, value-added tax, on the internet. That becomes costly to the user. That becomes costly in terms of production. So that's what we're doing as the ABC say, if we want to roll out digital technologies, digital evolution, we need to reduce, we need to eliminate those binding constraints, including high taxation that we impose on those services, we impose on technical companies. If we are talking about FinTech, embracing FinTech, Uganda has done quite well, but you find the tax becomes a challenge in terms of rolling out FinTech activities. So we need to advocate for reducing, not eliminating, of course government has to collect taxes, but to look at the fair share in terms of eliminating those daunting charges that they impose on companies that are rolling out digital innovations.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Mr. John. And I agree with you. Where we find innovation is where we have challenges. So I like the idea of COVID, climate change, and conflict. So if you're trying to ideate, maybe you can look at around those ideas where you can come up with something or a startup. I'll pass it to my brother Alfred. We saw your nice video in the village. You're doing a digital solution. How are those teachers in those villages able to access, and are you playing a part in making sure that more marginalized communities have access to digital solutions?
Yes, thank you, Leah, for noticing that. So this is a great challenge, and that's why we decided to tackle this thing. But before I say anything, I would just like to reiterate or re-echo this thing to all of us here. A UN report indicated that 50%, that is half of the future jobs, are non-existent today. Half of the jobs in the future do not exist today. So these are jobs that are going to be created because of innovation and entrepreneurship. Take an example of social media manager today. That job title did not exist a few years ago. And that report further says that those jobs that are non-existent today, the half of the jobs are not going to be based on qualification, but are going to be based on skill set. The future is going to be about what you can do, not where you went to school. And get me right on this one, I'm not saying that do not be qualified, okay? I'm just telling you what the facts are for the future. It's going to be more skill set based and not qualification based. And that's what we are doing at Kano Africa, because the World Bank report indicated that children who had access to quality early childhood education that involved early literacy learning programs and early brain stimulation earned higher in wages as adults compared to their counterparts who didn't go to nursery school. The study also showed that the counterparts who had access to quality ECD intervention were able to learn better than their counterparts who did not. And that's why at Kano Africa, we built a solution that is both online and offline. Yeah, so when you mention the videos in the villages, the reason as to why we partnered with UNICEF and the Aga Khan Foundation is because we have a digital application, but that can also run offline and does not require the internet. So we can improve on increasing the digital space for all the children in sub-Saharan Africa to benefit from this wonderful solution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love that. Can we give it a hand? Especially because of the online and offline solutions. So even when we were doing our pitch practices, people had come up with great ideas, but then this was the question: how will that last mile person in the village access this solution? So as we're building our startups, we must also think about online and offline, some app or USSD solutions that could come into play. And I want to invite Ronnie to tell us a bit about what the African Youth Foundation is doing to promote. Now we're going to talk about the future of work. So before we started the conversation, I went to do some research and I typed in the future of work on YouTube. And there are videos from 5 years ago talking about the future of work, which means we are late to this conversation, very late, because the future of work has arrived. He mentioned that social media did not exist. We have our entrepreneur here who's also an influencer using social media. So what is the African Youth Foundation doing right now to bring these young people into this future that we are talking about that is already here?
Great, thank you very much for that brilliant question. So I think if I may borrow his position around statistics, the World Bank says that on an annual basis, there's a need for formal jobs, a need for 10 to 12 million formal jobs. But the African continent, we are only creating 3 million jobs. And entrepreneurship is coming in to bridge that difference. And the only way entrepreneurship can increase and bridge that gap more is through digital access. So it places digital access at the center of the conversation. International Youth Foundation, as I indicated in my introduction, we are an international organization that has worked in more than 22 countries in Africa. We're a US-based organization. So coming to your question, what are we doing around promoting digital access and the aspect of future of work? We did an assessment around future of work in Africa. And I think some of the aspects that have been talked about, aspects around digital access, aspects around climate change. In addition to those aspects, what we also noted is the rise of the creative industry as part and parcel of the future of work. We have a brilliant brother who has been helping us, energizing us here. That is gonna be making millions in the future. But it's not in the far future, because if you look at the trend that is happening now, Burna Boy from Nigeria is selling off high-profile venues in USA. Amapiano has taken the world over. Who knows what's gonna come from Africa? So the future of work should not be confined only to the aspects of high-tech industries, but to aspects that are related to our own culture, our own creativities. And this is hinged upon the young people that are seated in here. So in the National Youth Foundation, we are also looking into how to promote creative works for young people, the digitalization of that aspect. The other aspect that we are doing is the upskilling of young people. We have a program that we are running in 4 countries in partnership with Google that is advancing certification of young people through what Google calls the professional courses. So digital marketing is key. I think for all the aspects that the entrepreneurs presented, one key that they need is the digital marketing. And we are working with these young people to make sure that they enhance their services or their products beyond their initial market through digital marketing. Data analytics is also coming up as a key issue. We need to understand the data around the product, the market that you have. If you don't understand that, you won't be able to, to expand or to understand your business more. So we are working with young people around that. But we are also proud to say that we have an intervention which is similar to what TCDC is doing, which is supporting young entrepreneurs with seed funding. And we are doing this in partnership with partners across the continent. And I'm happy to say that if you check on your website, Leap Africa, which is a Nigerian-based organization, has actually advertised for a new cohort around social innovation. Take that opportunity to showcase, to apply, showcase your work, and I think it will also be an opportunity for you to get support in terms of incubating your idea and possibly financial support as well. But overall, I would like to say that with the development of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, it has actually influenced the shift in terms of the development focus. Initially, the development sector, it was aid-oriented, but right now it's trade-oriented. It's in many of the opportunities that you are seeing now, there's a question of how does this promote entrepreneurship and how does this promote trade? So this is out of influence that has come from foundations like IYF and other big foundations as well, influencing how the development agenda should focus on aspects of trade and entrepreneurship. So these are my brief summary of this.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. I appreciate that a lot. I liked how you mentioned the creative industry. And I mean, right now, every business is transforming to a technology business. Whether you are making our sweet potato, Brother Kelvin, you have to go into digital transformation. If you're doing TikTok videos, you are a tech business. You are using tech to promote your content. So I want us to hear from the two young people there, our Joy and William. Joy, especially because you're in the future of work right now, doing remote work. How can policymakers support you to take more advantage of this remote work opportunities, this digital work, this future of work? And I'm informed that we have a representative from the economic development. We have a representative for His Excellency Albert M. Muchanga, who is the Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Industry, and Mining. So we will have him come online as soon as we hear from the two participants.
Thank you. So before I talk about how the policymakers can help us, I'd like to highlight on how we can use what we already have. Because most of the people in these rooms, I can clearly see that you have smartphones, some of you have laptops, but what are you using them for to benefit you, especially financially? Because when you go online, you realize that when Kenya and Uganda has, quote in quotes, a war, or we are fighting about something, it's trending, we are sharing heavily, but when for someone in maybe Kenya is winning, or is doing something good, or some innovator from Uganda is doing something good, we don't share. We look, maybe like, we don't even retweet. So at the end of the day, we are enemies to ourselves. We don't use the already available internet access to benefit ourselves. Most of us look at social media as something we go to at the end of the day for fun. But when you look at it from a perspective of I can use it for marketing, you can actually make a lot of money off of it. Because I started my cleaning business in 2019, and it started from a single tweet. I made a tweet that I do cleaning services, and it went viral, and I got so many clients from it, and I had to register my business and get stuff. It was just something that started on social media. And even my second company is a social media organization company. We do websites and graphics, designs, everything online. So I don't look at internet as something I go to at the end of my day to have fun. I look at it as a platform where I can reach all the people in this room and tell them what I do. And then I know that they can support me, because there are so many people out there looking for the services that you're offering, but you're choosing to retweet and post and dance videos. That's what you want to share with your friends. You're not willing to put your business out there. So I think we need to use the already available internet services to benefit us financially. Then to the policymakers, for Uganda, we always have a problem when it comes to political times. They switch us off for like a week or even two, without considering the fact that some of us do entirely online marketing. We are maybe have perishable goods. I sell Irish, and during the elections, the previous elections, I had like Irish go bad in the store because I could not market because the internet was off for nearly 2 weeks. So it's quite unfair. And I'm glad that they removed the OTT, but still our data is so expensive, because if I have to buy daily data, I spend about 5,000 UJX. That's more than $1. I spend almost $2 every single day to access internet, whereby it's expensive on my side and I am earning. So for youth who are not earning as much or who are not earning at all, internet is inaccessible. And then for people in the villages, for example, my village, I come from Kisoro, and we don't have stable internet. Like when I'm there, I have to struggle to connect. So I think that's also something they need to work on to reach the local people. And then also I'm an activist for people living with disabilities. So something that I need to put out there to companies and organizations that have embraced digital already, I think you need to put subtitles on all your videos. Like when you're putting out a video on social media, don't just assume that everyone who is watching the video has the ability to actually hear what the person is talking. So if you can just put like subtitles, you don't have to have an interpreter on every single video, but you can just put like subtitles so that they can read. I think that would also be a very good inclusive point for people who are going digital.
Thank you so much, Joy. I'll let William continue.
Thank you very, very much. I'll start by explaining why I think digital access is important. Currently, when you look at the world economy, you look at Singapore, they were able to provide some sort of strategic value in terms of like transshipments.
Please remember to speak slower. For us who do not know the accent well.
So essentially, it's important for Africa to be able to create strategic value on its own. You can look at Singapore, which has been able to make massive strides in terms of transshipments because of its geographical location. It's located near the Malacca Strait, which is where trade passes from China to Europe. Or we can look at China, which has become like sort of the factory of the world. So it's really important that Africa may get some strategic value, and that's why digital access is really, really important. And there's a few things I want to talk about from like a diasporan perspective. So obviously representing Nigeria, I read a report on World Bank a few years ago. Nigeria needs around 40 megawatts of electricity, so 40,000 megawatts of electricity, to feed its population in terms of electricity. However, it only produces around 11,000 megawatts. So that's just a bit more than a quarter. And therefore, we don't even have enough electricity to begin with like digital access. So I think first we need to focus on power distribution. So we're looking at power generation, transmission, and distribution firstly, because if there's no power, then you're not going to have what you need when it comes to digital access. From a Commonwealth perspective as well, it's one of the major themes in the Commonwealth Youth Declaration, digital transformation. It's really, really important that young people in Africa become well equipped. I really liked what one of the speakers said before, that, okay, I might sound hypocritical here because I do go to Cambridge University, but at the same time, it's not really important what paperwork you have. It's really, what's really important now is the skills that you have. So I have a friend who also goes to Cambridge as well. His name is Kiki Opelua Ajayi, and he has a company, a startup called Telos X. He's also a Nigerian, and he started it in his room. It's a knowledge sharing platform that basically makes it cheaper for software devs to learn how to code within their companies, and actually like it's making a lot of money right now. So it's really about the skills that you have as opposed to the education that you're learning or these institutions. It's really important that young people in Africa are equipped with the necessary skills. So what I would like to see is a bit more public and private partnership, private companies working to teach or provide funds for young Africans to learn how to code, learn Java, Python, gain some sort of literacy digitally so that we can be able to take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution. It's really important that we do, because otherwise we'll be left in the dirt, And then, yes, finally, I just think it's really important that we just come together and we just work on what we need to work on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And it's true, we can take advantage of the gig economy if you're a good writer. We have platforms now online. I'm sure you've heard of the gig economy, like Fiverr, Upwork. You can go there and just say that you're a writer, and people will contract you and pay you online. But then again, we have to also discuss about digital payments, which we've heard about, to allow people to get paid. And I do like what you said about development funds are now going into looking at how does this translate to entrepreneurship? Because entrepreneurship translates to jobs. So even those people who are here saying that they are not in business and they are in social enterprise or NGOs, you still have to pitch your NGO, you still have to pitch your social enterprise in the same way as an entrepreneur is pitching here their sweet potato business, right? So we all have to think through how is this financially sustainable. And with that, I would like to invite Ivan. Ivan, are you around? So we are going to have closing remarks, but we'll have the keynote address from our speaker, and then we can close the discussion. So please bear with us.
It will come. So it's just like a brief amendment to the floor. Bear with us. Our very good continental policy maker, they are having very multiple schedules. They don't want miss to talk to you, and we would like to give them an opportunity. Then we conclude with the way you are saying. Is that okay? Yes. So we have invited His Excellency Albert Muchanga, the African Union Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade and Industry and Minerals. But he's in back-to-back meetings and has asked the Director for Industry, Minerals and Entrepreneurship, which you can see is quite relevant, Mr. Charles Chiza Chiumya, to represent him and speak to us. And Mr. Charles, today the African young business leaders are also launching a structure to keep and bring them together, the African Youth Business Council, with the support and incubation of the East African Business Council, the Training Center for Development Cooperation, and the East African Community as a partnership. So we will also ask you to unveil on behalf of the youth and the commissioner, as we requested him, the African Youth Business Council in this African Youth Business Leaders Forum. And then, of course, you will sort of close the forum for us, but officially, but then process-wise, the panel will continue and the youth will ask their questions, and you are welcome to stick around if you have a minute on you and listen to what they are talking about, how they want to take businesses forward continentally, and how you will support them as the director in charge at a continental level. We thank you once again. We understand that you are accompanying our heads of states and government to a meeting in the US right now, and there is a lot going on, but you are allowed to come and be with us. We don't take it for granted. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Just to check if you can hear me. Thank you so much, Ivan. Just to check if you can hear me.
Just a second. There seems to be a sound challenge. Just a second. Try to make things work. Any feedback? try to say hello again.
Hello, can you hear me, Ivan?
Yeah, it's not yet in. Are you working on it, the tech team? Is it okay now? Almost.
Sound check,
Great.
sound check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, be patient with us. Technology is not our motherland. Apologies once again. Patience pays, though, but sometimes after paining anyway. So I like your suggestion. Leah, as we solve the sound issue, you can be taking us to the next level. The commissioner will also have a chance to listen in by.
So then maybe we can take a few rounds of comments before he comes on board. I just wanted to, yesterday I met a young lady who is using digital access to promote peace or talk about peace. So I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, about digital access and peace and how we can use that to promote peace, even as we are talking about the future of work. I see Joy smiling. I think she has something to say before everyone else.
Okay, for most young people who heavily use social media, you know the term violence. So most people are actually currently using social media to promote violence, which is not a good thing. I feel like 80% of the people there are just promoting violence against their friends, abusing their friends, bullying their friends. And I think that's something we need to change. Of course, there are some few people who are advocating for peace, and they are really going in the right direction. And I think that's something we need to do. We all need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to echo to what my sister is saying, that we have the tools.
Demand for new ways of learning.
We have the tools in our hands. The way we use them, are we using them in the right way? That is maybe one question to put forth to the youth. We have these mobile phone, we have computers, those even who have access to internet. Are you properly using the internet? You're optimizing it, using it the right way. Then another thing, that when we talk about digital access, what we need to do and what we need to advocate for is the flexibility, flexibility in our working environment. We need to move away from tradition saying, I need to report to the office by 8, I leave 5. What have you used that time? You can sit anywhere and do your work productively, whether in the night or that kind of flexibility. We need to embrace it, and we need to advocate for it, to allow the youth to be flexible, to be multitasked. You can do a lot of work, but our environment does not give that level of flexibility. I think that is the discussion we need to put forward. Finally, again, we need to address the issue of digital infrastructure, the access, the power challenges we are having, the cost. My sister was talking about, I think OTA, this is the, OTA is a tax Uganda introduced or no, on the mobile, on the use of mobile or use of internet. I mentioned about VAT imposed on, no, on the internet. So I think we need to advocate for elimination of those charges that are detrimental for us to roll out or to use the digital instruments. Thank you.
Okay, technology has finally become our friend, I am told. Director, are you able to return? Can you hear us? Hello, Director, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Ivan. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you very well, but we can't see you anymore. We would love to see you. You were looking great.
What about now?
Wonderful, wonderful. So we are here, Mr. Director, at the East African Community Headquarters in Arusha, Tanzania. The YouLead Summit is an annual convening of African young leaders and policymakers. We've been here since yesterday. Today is Africa Under 40 Business Leaders Forum. It's about to conclude, and you are supposed to help us conclude it. And therefore, without taking so much of your time, you are welcome to speak to us and also help us to unveil the African Youth Business Council on behalf of the Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivan, for that wonderful introduction. As you mentioned earlier, the Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Tourism, Industry, as well as Minerals here at the African Union Commission, was so much looking forward to be part and parcel of this wonderful summit that you are having. But unfortunately, as you also indicated, you know, the Africa-US forum is just taking place now in the US, and he is engaged in those meetings. For that reason, he requested me to represent him, just to show the commitment of the African Union Commission when it comes to entrepreneurship, but above all, when it comes to youth development in the continent. So as such, he had prepared a speech which he was supposed to give you. So if you could indulge me, I want to read verbatim the speech so that I say exactly what he wanted to convey to your summit, the YouLead Summit, and the delegates. So his speech is as follows. Your Excellencies present, representative of governments, the youth-led and youth-owned business leaders from across the continent, distinguished invited guests, YouLead Summit delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly greet you all and wish I was able to join you in person in Arusha, Tanzania, and in the process get to add to my Swahili vocabulary. From the onset, I would like to thank all the organizers and collaborating entities for the organizing the Africa Youth Leadership Summit, YouLead Summit 2022. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the patron, His Excellency Jakaya Kikwete, the former president of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Peter Matuki, the ESC Secretary General, and Ms. Makena Wobobia, Microsoft Training Center for Development Cooperation, who together jointly hosted the YouLead Africa program. I thank the summit director, Mr. Ivan Atuyambe, for this invitation to speak during the Under 40 Business Leaders Forum of the YouLead Summit 2022, dedicated to making the AfCFTA promises to African youth and women a reality. The YouLead Secretariat, the East African Business Council, International Trade Center, in collaboration with the Independent Continental Youth Advisory Council, FCFTA, and national private sector apex associations in the ESC partner states have also been very pivotal in organizing this summit. Secondly, I would like to acknowledge all the youth entrepreneurs and business leaders from across the continent who made it to this summit. I congratulate you for your entrepreneurial spirit and never give up attitude, which you will need in abundance if you are to navigate the global entrepreneurship market and succeed. Embarking on a journey of starting, managing, and growing a business is not for the faint-hearted. My hope is that the networks and ideas which you will share during this summit will find expression and meaning in the day-to-day running of your businesses. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the overarching theme for the summit is digital access and future of work. And I think this is one of the panel that is ongoing right now. I strongly believe that this is an opportune moment where collectively we need to address the digitalization of Africa and create an enabling digital startup environments, since the digital economy is shaping our lives and the cost of technology has decreased dramatically. Social media platforms have also become available to millions of Africans and lowered the marketing budget even further for entrepreneurs willing to leverage these resources. Goal 4 of the Exploration 1 of the Agenda 2063 talks about transforming Africa's economies through beneficiation from Africa's natural resources, manufacturing, industrialization, value addition, as well as raising productivity, competitiveness, and creating more jobs. This is an opportunity for young people to contribute towards a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. Dear youth entrepreneurs, you are the drivers of Africa's digital economy, hence the need to invest in your skills development to create innovations and growth on the continent. However, despite recent growth in internet connectivity, I acknowledge that Africa still lags behind other regions of the world. With just only 2% internet connectivity, the continent remains significantly behind other world regions. I mention these statistics not to paint a gloomy picture, but highlight the enormous opportunity which lies untapped for you youth entrepreneurs meeting in Arusha and listening virtually. There is a tremendous opportunity to develop systems that can optimize both physical and digital channels to enhance your customers' experiences in whichever sectors you are. You also have a role to play in profiling solutions to bridging the digital divide. During the summit's pledging session, you have an opportunity to hold each other to account, policymakers and the private sector, by sharing tangible commitments to supporting the digitalization agenda for youth employment. I believe that Africa has some of the best innovators. The challenge has always been scaling up startup investments across the continent to grow tech entrepreneurs and enhance financial inclusion. In addition, we need to emphasize how the future is about leveraging data the right way. Due to tectonic shifts happening around technologies and business paradigms, evolving in very short periods, the question we must ask as entrepreneurs is, are we ready to decode data and digital capabilities? In your startup, how are you leveraging data to draw customers, increase sales, meet your clients' needs, as well as scale up your businesses? I think these are some of the questions that the panel, which is discussing now, is trying to answer. Today, you will also be launching the African Youth Business Council, a continental apex body for youth-led private sector entities, institutions, and associations in Africa, advocating for a youth-friendly business policy environment aimed at making FCFTA promises to African youth a reality. I understand and acknowledge the challenging macroeconomic environment that Africa and the world finds itself at the moment. We are talking about post-COVID issues. We're talking about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We are talking about climate changes. as some of the challenges that we are facing right now. Nevertheless, businesses need to continually innovate and explore new ways of doing things to stay ahead of other competitors. In fact, it is precisely during these difficult times when your competitors may have their eye on the ball that African youth can use innovation to their advantage. You have heard the saying which says, you don't waste a crisis. It means that in each and every crisis, there are opportunities that can be explored. The African Union Commission, through the Department of Economic Development, Trade, Tourism, Industry, and Minerals, is strongly committed to supporting member states to grow their economies, especially in enabling all private sector actors, including the youth, to benefit and participate in development. We greatly value the growing involvement of the youth and women entrepreneurs in private sector development activities. Through the concept note you have shared, I have noted your concern, and I quote that although the private sector is positioned to drive the FCFTA's implementation, most of Africa's apex business bodies, namely business councils, chambers of commerce, and manufacturers associations, lack functional youth arms. This puts the continent's vast population of youth entrepreneurs at a huge disadvantage and risk their being sidelines in the implementation of the agreement. I am a firm believer in forging partnerships in order to drive inclusion. Partnerships and umbrella organizations should result in smart solutions that can solve many of the continent's challenges, creating technologies that can change the life of the masses. This should be the ultimate goal of the African Youth Business Council. Secondly, the African Youth Business Council can provide an opportunity for collaboration and value chain development. An agricultural startup in Nigeria can easily collaborate with a peer company in Kenya, while a medical supply startups in Egypt could easily source raw materials and natural extracts from the DRC or Guinea. This is the kind of real-life collaboration we hope to see. As I conclude, I have a real-life story of a medical doctor in one of the African countries that I have shared with youth before in one of the online events, which I hope will inspire African youth entrepreneurs wherever they are and including in this summit. The doctor told me that 50 years ago, he came up with an idea in the medical field, and he shared that idea with one of the big pharmaceutical companies in the world. The pharmaceutical company offered him 200,000 United States dollars, and he thought it was very good money. So he sold the idea for 200,000 US dollars. He says that I have been closely following the commercialization of that idea, and I've come to calculate that the idea that I sold for 200,000 US dollars after commercializing is bringing that company about 3 billion annually. Had it been me doing that, I could be a billionaire today. So the first thing I want to tell entrepreneurs is that if you are convinced in your product and startup operation, do not be in a hurry to sell it. Learn every detail of the operations and scale it up. Furthermore, think of protecting it through the application of intellectual property rights for business registration that are available in your jurisdiction. Today, you have heard from several government leaders, policymakers, development partners, and entrepreneurs. My challenge to you is to pick an action point and apply it in your business. Patiently work on these action points and watch your startup grow through sheer hard work and determination. The African Union Commission also looks forward to receiving the summit's deliberation and post-summit agenda action plan. With these remarks, I would like to officially close the Africa Under 40 Business Leaders Forum at YouLead Summit 2022, and I declare the African Youth Business Council officially launched. Thank you. That's the speech, Mr. Ivan. From the
Thank you so much, Director. And of course, you are at liberty to add your own few words, the way you feel. I think you can feel the vibe from around Africa. We have members of parliament, we have young business leaders and entrepreneurs. We have the first daughter of Republic of Kenya, Ms. Shireen Ruto, and two members of parliament. We have the CEO of the East African Business Council, who has been championing and supporting the youth in business agenda, which we are growing out of East Africa to the continent now. So you are free to add your own remarks on what you think, this council should do to lift and fill the gaps the current structures don't fill in. And I will then invite the two interim executive members of the council who are here, Leah and Adam, to say at least 15 seconds word before you leave as well. And this was the panel that was speaking when you came, so they have also the opportunity to accompany you in this journey. You're welcome.
Thank you so much again, Ivan. In the speech, I was adding a lot of my own thoughts as well as I was delivering it. But all the same, I as the director responsible for entrepreneurship at the African Union Commission, I'm really delighted to see the youth of Africa taking this step, establishing the Business Council that is dedicated to issue of uplifting the youth entrepreneurship. What this has done actually is close a big gap that we have had in the continent, where you find a lot of women organizations, big organizations, but the youth never had a single voice. So I believe that this African Youth Business Council is going to bring the voice of the youth in the table. Just as the speech had said, that we need the voice and that the youth are the current leaders of the diversification, digitalization is being led by the youth. So we need to hear more from the youth. And we are really delighted that this has been launched. And we are looking forward that this organization, this institution will be scaled up to the whole continent. And we are looking forward to work with you to find better ways on how we can scale this up. Already at the African Union Commission, we have the African Business Council, AFBC. We are also going to make sure that this new institution is talking to the African Business Council, especially when it comes to the issues of the youth. So once again, we really want to congratulate the YouLead Summit and also its leadership for launching this institution
with the business leaders. Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Them in the remarks they have. Just we can help. So thank you very much once again, Director. And the two champions that are forming part of the interim executive, they are going to say a few words before you leave us on why they have started this and where they see it going and the support they would expect from the Commission. We have three interim executive members, but they are representing a very huge network of young entrepreneurs. We call them the under 40 business leaders and entrepreneurs. There are Samira from Niger. She's joining us online. Samira, I don't know if you have your video, you can show us, people can see you. But there is Adam Arikari from Nigeria. He's a journalist, runs a journalist company. And Leah Duwati, who is a business, inter-country business connection champion and based in Ghana, but Kenyan originally. And I would like them to just speak their heart to you in just 15 seconds each, so that we don't test so much the patience of everyone who has graced us with the patience, yeah?
Okay, thank you so much, Ivan, and it's my pleasure to, on behalf of, like you said, members of the interim executive members of the African Youth Business Council, which I have been and we have been working with you to co-create since from sometimes in the middle of this year. Essentially, Mr. Charles, the idea behind the African Youth Business Council is to bridge the gap that you yourself has highlighted in terms of access to opportunities by young African entrepreneurs. Of course, like the African Union or your department in particular helped set up the African Business Council. But in terms of the challenges of young people, which are peculiar to young people, we feel there is need for an entity that will work towards addressing these peculiar challenges of access to financing, access to knowledge and capacity, and also ability to move across border in the AFCFTA era. So indeed, we are glad that you found time to help us launch this initiative, and hope that the African Union, Department of Trade Industry, Mining will be with us in this journey as we begin it, in terms of supporting us, in terms of guiding us to make the vision of this council a reality. Thank you.
Is a member of the interim executive, and as I said, Samira from Niger is joining us virtually. Probably she will have no chance to say a word. So let me invite Leah Nduwati, the interim president of the African Youth Business Council, just in maybe 30 seconds to also say why this council and how can everyone be part of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ivan. And I want to thank you for steering this African Youth Business Council. As the interim president, my work is to do. So we are going to make after AFCFTA work for youth-led businesses across the continent. We are starting with a call for membership. So some of you have already received a link. So if you're a youth-led business, women, men, young, below 35, join the membership drive. And from January, we will now start getting active. We have the AFCFTA here. We have you as the African Union Commission. We know that your doors are open, but we will use our ingenuity as youth to make sure that whatever we do will not embarrass Africa and will create jobs and will uplift Africans in the fourth industrial revolution. Thank you very much.
Spirit of fairness, I think Samira should also get a chance. We are keeping it below 15 seconds. Samira, you can unmute.
Yes, hello. Can you see me and hear me? Good evening.
We can see you, we can hear you, Samira.
Okay, so I'm not going to add much from what my brother Adam and my sister Leah said. Maybe I will just, I'm so excited to see all these fantastic people at the summit. I'm feeling so jealous to not attending the summit because of some engagement I had last week. So I'm just maybe inviting people at the summit to join our council, the new council that has been created for us to be the continental voice of youth in private sector and also to promote the youth-led trade and enterprise. So thank you very much, Ivan, for giving all of us this opportunity to join the council, and I hope we'll do some great works together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We thank you once again, Mr. Director, for creating time amidst your very busy schedule. Because we have our policymakers here, I would like to invite our Member of Parliament for the East African Legislative Assembly to join you and just emphasize the role of policymakers. Just again in 30 seconds, Honorable Pamela, on behalf of policymakers in the region, just 15 seconds, then we go.
Thank you. Let me also join my colleagues to congratulate Bwana Director for the good presentation and the highlights he has given to us, especially from at personal level. But we as policymakers, yes, we have a role to do, but for you making us be part of whatever the move you're doing, it will work. And for you considering that we need to at least engage those who are in this category, like considering that the members who are with this age can be part of our movement. This is a correct strategy. So I encourage you, we are part of this, we are in for it, and we are forever for it.
Thank you very much. My my magas, where are you? Yes, you are one of the magas. Let's take it away. And Leah, you have to seek permission to continue with the panel. I think people are now grooming, so but seek permission.
I think, Ivan, what we'll do with the permission, I mean, if there are any pressing questions to the panelists, I want to invite the panelists. I can see that there are pressing questions. So I'll invite the panelists back just for a few minutes, and all we'll do is get your questions. But then we will also make sure that we sit together at dinner. And if you want to come and have more engagement with us, we can do that. Yeah. I will pick up this fight with Emelot because his session went farther than his time. So he stole my time. Yes. So if we can pass the microphone. Yes, please, panelists, come back so that the delegates can. So we'll start here because she had sent a request earlier. So please go ahead. Is William here?
Hello, everybody. My name is Foxy, and I'm from England. And I've lived in Tanzania for 5 years, been coming here for 16 years. My business in England, I've had my own IT company for nearly 25 years. And one of the specialists that I work with or within is women in tech. And I advocate women in tech very much. Also, another area that I work in, I'm also a lawyer and I specialize in cybercrime, cyber fraud and cyber terrorism and intellectual property. And with the digital access, many of you will need to, as they've been advocating today, you need to be entrepreneurs, you need to do your own businesses. You also need to think about how to protect your business within the digital area. You need to think about your intellectual property. You need to protect your logo, your product, everything on the internet. You need to protect it very much with your copyright and also your patents, because you don't want anybody to steal your special ideas. So also another area you need to think about with the digital age is your digital marketing strategy and your digital marketing and strategy, how you're going to produce it online. So think about your strategy on how you're going to market yourself, and you need to be different to someone else because your business is your business, nobody else's.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. I'm glad you mentioned cybercrime, intellectual property. We were talking about the fourth industrial revolution, and we're talking about the metaverse and NFTs and blockchain, where you now have one source of truth. So this is something that we could really go into and make sure that we protect our intellectual property online. Thank you. Oh, okay. She says during COVID, 5%? 500% of fraud online increased during COVID. Yeah, so we have to protect ourselves. So please, you can pass it to the gentleman.
So
both of you will ask.
Just
Don't
briefly,
worry.
kindly.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Leah. My name is Tumwesige Derek Collins, and I'm from Uganda. Before I raise my question, I would just want to pass a concern to the director and those ones who can access the presidents of Africa in line to AFSTA. Currently, the presidents of Africa, they're in the USA, and the US-Africa Summit should really focus on discussions that will see us loosening up on the restricted on agriculture and byproducts to access USA. If you look at Africa, most of our things that we produce, they don't enter foreign countries like Britain, USA, but you find their products, they are the most occupying in our areas. Then my question goes to this comrade. I didn't capture Your name? Ronnie?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
Ronnie.
Ronnie. As Africa, she has just talked about cybercrime. And you as Lead Africa, as you realize there is a lot of data gap in our societies, you as Lead Africa, how have you managed to collect data and helping the young people to pursue their dreams? And then also, there is a report that I was reading 2 days ago.
Excuse me, just to keep time,
Yes,
let's
just-
keep it to one question so
Okay.
that other people can have an opportunity and then we can also retire early. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. My name is Amkona Suldin Basalwa. I come from Uganda. My question is to go to my sister from Uganda, and I want to remind you about the social media network. You've not yet lighted about in Uganda, the Facebook was shut down. It's off totally. I don't know how you express yourself doing business through social media, and I want you to tell the youth also about that concern. Thank you.
Thank you. A lady, kindly. A lady, let's do a lady, please. For gender equality purposes, eh? Yeah.
Hi everyone. My beautiful name is Angel Osam Nalumansi. I'm from Uganda. So I'm not really a talker, but this session was really intriguing for me because when Ivan started, the first thing he said was we need to trade skills and trade talent. And then when Albert was talking, he mentioned skills and all that. Today, work does not matter what you studied or what you did. And then he gave an example of social media managers. I am a social media manager for Safe Border. I lead on their digital comms. We are in 3 countries. We tapped out of the market in Kenya, but we're operating in Nigeria, though we may tap out as well, and Uganda. So the job on social media management, it was not really a thing, like he said. It's just a thing that has come up. But even as it has come up, it's still being attacked because there's an app I know. It's called OpenAI. It does the work of a social media manager. So this shows us that work is evolving, work is changing, things are changing. So my question to everyone here, all of us, the youth, is that how are we positioning ourselves for the evolving changes in the future of work? Because work is evolving, that is for sure. And then I also want, in the same spirit as my sister, our sister, the first daughter, I'm very good with digital marketing, not to brag, I'm really good. And he said the people that presented today, that is the only element they didn't mention in their, as they were pitching their ideas. So I'm willing to voluntarily offer free consultation services to every startup in here for digital marketing because you need to sell your product. So I'm willing to help anyone for free.
I think I will help you. Only the first 2 sessions will be free. After that, you have to pay.
Good. And the same breath, I was also the social media manager for the One Young ESC Youth for Kenya 22, the Kenya Money campaign that just concluded 2-3 months ago. So it's a role that is existing and it's really doing wonders. Sawa?
Okay.
Yeah, so
3 last questions.
yeah,
The panelists will answer.
you'll be the
after.
last one. You'll be the last one. Let's pick one from this side.
Okay, my name is Viona. I'm from Kenya. And since we are talking about the theme of digital access and future of work, I have friends who are watching us from online. And my suggestion was that just to help us market ourselves, there are those who can translate here, Amaniaje. So we should have at least a YouLead delegate who is translating. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, you've noted
Yes,
that.
that's amazing.
Thank you very much. My name is Jagutoni Raymond, a delegate from Uganda. My question is, and I would like to build it this way. I've lived in India for 2 years, and I was studying MBA with data analysis. So the thing is, we were analyzing different data programs with my university, Delhi Technological University, and the University of Bonn in Germany, and other companies in India. But the challenge we face is when it comes to bringing the concept in Africa, we lack access to the data of the companies and other agencies from which we can analyze the data, probably to make projections. So I would love to ask the panel is to help us and convince governments to institute policies that enable companies in our country to provide accessibility to data. Recently, I got a project from Uganda when I was still in India. Someone requested me, help me to analyze my data. But when I tried searching the data which I had to analyze so that I can make projections for them, I couldn't access anyone. I contacted IT experts. They told me this is not possible. Literally, we can't do anything. So I would like to request, that is my humble request, that we don't have data accessibility. So please help us.
I think you're the best person to solve that problem, since you have felt the problem yourself. So since you said the problem in Africa is this, then you have to answer, the solution is this, and build a solution around it. Because the best entrepreneurs are the ones who build from the problems that they experience.
Yeah, the last person, for the interest of time, kindly.
Hello, greetings to you all. It's an honor to pose a question and pose any case.
Yes,
for
please
this
pose the
congregation.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. Upon having digital platforms, we're also aware of cyber crimes, as Honorable says. I would like to pose a question before panelists. How can cyber security be implemented to ensure this young generation or these young business owners run their business smoothly without cyber violence? As we can see, digital platforms, more so Twitter, Instagram, and other platforms, where youth have been using to promote their businesses, have been violated for more than a year now. And I don't know how can we, maybe AFCTA and other platforms, take time and implement cybersecurity.
All right, what do you think? One last?
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I think let me try to respond to your question first, then I come to the question that was posed directly to me. I think we do have a tendency, I'm one of them as well. When you are signing on products on the internet, you don't read the terms and agreements. For most of us, it says read the terms and agreements and sign. We just tick the box and we go to the next processes. My recommendation is for any processes on the internet, I'm not a cybersecurity person, but it's important to understand the terms and conditions of the product that you are accessing. And I think there's information that you don't need to ordinarily disclose on the internet. I think cybersecurity personnel can also speak to that. So my brother will ask the question on how do we get data from young people. Let me clarify. I'm from International Youth Foundation, and Leap Africa is a partner that we're working with. They are based in Nigeria. But as International Youth Foundation, we meaningfully involve young people in everything what we do. We make sure that we consult, we engage, we get the ideas from young people. This is how we get the information from young people that advises and also that informs our program. So I hope I answered your question around that. So let me give a chance to other panelists.
So you can answer any of the questions that were pertinent and then give us your closing remarks.
Thank you again, Leah. There's something very critical. He spoke about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a tech field that is really underlooked. But look at cybersecurity as sickness or as a hospital. There is not much that we are going to do to put that together. A lot of cybersecurity crime or events are actually not heard of because they're a bit embarrassing. Banks will not tell you how they were hit a couple of $1 billion. They will not say it, okay? So treat it as a hospital. We can invest a lot of funding in building great hospitals to get patients in there and treat them, but it does not mean it's going to stop. The sickness is going to stop. It's going to be there, but for tech, what really matters there is the more your business grows or scales, the more you will be attacked. It comes from vulnerabilities. So speaking to youth today, starting up small businesses, my recommendation would be stick to a tech team that you trust, because these vulnerabilities start from the people that you use to develop the product. I develop a tech product for you, but I leave a port that I can use to access the system tomorrow. So that's one thing that I'll tell you. The second thing would be, there's something called the EC Council. If you've heard of the EC Council, you can Google the EC Council. There are courses like CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker. It teaches you how to hack a system, but as a white hat hacker. You understand? So every time you check on vulnerabilities and block those, okay? There are easy courses that you can also take there. I would like to close my remarks by giving you a brief information about the brain in terms of how youth can develop ourselves for the future. Did you know that as a human being, what you learn the most in your entire lifetime is going to happen between the first 1,000 days of your lifetime, you know? I'm coming from this place that a lot of us in the African continent will neglect that part that is going to enable you as an adult to earn higher in wages when you grow up, or to learn better. Like we shared before, the future of work is going to be skills-based. Those people who did not get access to good brain stimulation might be wiped out. So we start early with our children. Get them exposed to good brain stimulation, get them exposed to good literacy learning activities so that they can become better leaders and policymakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a hand. Yes, Mr. John Bosco.
I wanted to respond to the data access question raised. I think we need again to be very careful in terms of the data we provide. And I know most of the institutions in our partner states do provide data, but the official data. When you write officially to the Ministry of Finance, to our national banks, they're able to provide you, give you access to data. But sometimes data is used for bad intentions. That's why it is restricted. That's why it is restricted. And I think this is the same. We're talking about cybercrime and other crimes we commit in terms of using data. So we need to be very careful. And I think there are other open source that you can get big data. We have ITC, TradeMap, we have the World Bank. You can access all that big data. I wanted also to give you one message, a concluding remarks in terms of the CFTA. We've talked about the framework and the opportunity it provides. Success equals opportunity and preparedness. So the youth, you must be prepared. It is not time to lament. The framework has been created. The political will has been demonstrated. Our government have ratified 44 countries. That is almost 83%, meaning that they want you to exploit the advantage provided, opportunity provided by the CFTA. So EABC, we are very committed. Again, I want to end my remarks by congratulating the interim committee responsible for African Youth Business Council. We are committed to work with you, to support you, to work with you in the journey to make it a very successful platform. And maybe lastly, that we have 8 lakes that are recognized, business lakes, or that are recognized by African Union. So we want to also interim committee to be inclusive, to draw executive members. That is my recommendation to Ivan and my sister here, Leah, the acting president. Make sure that all regions are represented. The SADC region is represented, ESC region is represented, ECAS region is represented, ECOWAS region is represented, so that you have an inclusiveness. If you don't have inclusiveness, it will be hard for you to implement what you plan to do. Thank you very much, and I wish you a blessed evening.
Thank you so much. Let's give him a hand.
I forgot to mention that Facebook is restricted in Uganda, and you currently can't access it unless you're using a VPN, which is a very big challenge, because if our leaders are telling us to create our own job opportunities and employment opportunities, and there are very many youth that were earning from digital marketing on Facebook, and it's now locked down, how do they expect us to make money and fend for ourselves if they are restricting the opportunities we created for ourselves? So I don't know who is in charge and why they closed it down, but I think we need to have it opened. But my final conclusion would be, you can't know that you can't do something unless you try it out. I used to tell people that I don't know how to use Twitter, it's not my app. And when I finally figured it out and I found out I was good at it, I started to say the same about Instagram until I realized that I'm actually good at it. And I said the same about TikTok till like 4 months ago until I realized that I'm actually good at it. So there are very many youth that I meet and I ask them, like, does your business have a social media handle? And they're like, no, I don't know how to do social media. What is so hard? Like, you're posting your pictures on your WhatsApp status or you're posting your business on your WhatsApp status. It's the same thing. Just open Twitter and post. At first, you won't be as consistent, but with time, you'll kind of figure it out. And there are very many people that are good out there that can actually guide you. You can approach me and I'll guide you on how to start. I'm not an expert, but I'm like really good at my level. So I can give you tips on how I started and how I try to stay consistent. And also social media can build you or destroy you. So it's something that you need to use very carefully.
Thank you so much. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you very much. I'll start where I kind of left off when I was talking about Africa needing to be able to have some sort of field of expertise, and that is through digital access. So it's really, really important that digital access is integrated within all the systems that we see. So for example, when it comes to education, are students using laptops enough? Are we making sure that digital access is becoming something that's becoming entrenched in the system, because this is the only way that we're going to have that field of expertise in digital access, by making it entrenched, by improving and working on our economic know-how when it comes to digital accessibility. In regards to the question about cybersecurity, I know currently right now a lot of companies are using clouds to manage their data, because obviously it's cheaper and it's more secure. So it's really important that we start, for policymakers anyway, pushing towards cloud computing. There's free courses on Google where you can learn about cloud computing. IBM currently have a few courses on cybersecurity. On the internet as well, you can learn about SQL. You can learn about many other softwares that that are to do with cloud computing and improving your cybersecurity. So there are free courses that we can make use of and learn. So it's really about policymakers, pushing this to the forefront and showing you that this is possible and these are routes that you can take, because you might not necessarily even have to spend money funding these things. They're kind of just already there. You just need to know about it and just increase awareness about those things. So that's what I would say. in that regard. But in terms of my closing remark, again, I study and I live in the UK, but I felt it was necessary to come here as, an African, a child of Africa, because, this is the home. So it's really important that we come together and, we take charge of our future. It's really important that we have proactivity in what we want to do. We have discipline. Can we do it for the long term? Are we committed to what we're doing? And we're passionate. Do we care about it? Have we identified a need that we feel like is imperative that needs to be solved? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a hand, considering I ambushed him. I'll let Ronnie give us his closing remarks because he didn't, and then we'll close.
Great, thank you very much. I think for me, don't be afraid to share out your ideas. Maybe the idea that you're holding out is the one that is going to transform Africa. And there are very willing, good people among us who are willing to support you. I think we have seen this in this session. So just be out there, share your ideas. We are there to support you. And all the best in all the interventions, initiatives that you are doing. It has been a remarkable session for me. So thank you very much.
Let's give him a hand. So as I close, I think we've got a lot today, and I would just like to mention that we didn't discuss about partnerships, and this is something that we can look at. For example, partnerships with people like Google, who have founded hubs here. Microsoft has set up a hub in Kenya, committing about $500 million. MasterCard has also committed $200 million now for investment vehicles that are funding women-led businesses. So I feel like as policymakers, also as investors, as businesses, we should look at these partnerships, as well as the power of many. So if you're able to join any organization that can lobby for you, like the EABC, I think we should leverage on that as entrepreneurs. And then skilling, like he mentioned, there's so many free courses. As the African Leadership Group, we offer free courses in cloud computing, software engineering. We've done virtual analysts just to bring people to remote work. At the African Leadership Group, we work 100% remote. So we are actually building talent that will access these opportunities, and it's all free. So look for those free opportunities. They won't come to you, but they're there, so you can find them. I want to thank my panelists so much. I want to thank Ivan for bringing this business forum to life. And I want to promise my brother, who was saying that we did not invite enough hubs or accelerators, and my sister who asked about the tech entrepreneurs, the ones who are actually raising the billions of dollars. I want to say that from this forum, we will have a monthly engagement with hubs and accelerators, and I will make sure that that happens. So we'll have an online engagement with hubs and accelerators that are in your countries, so you know what support systems exist for entrepreneurs. And next year, we will have the top tech entrepreneurs that you see in the big news. They will be here. They'll share with us their success stories, their failures, and you'll get to engage with them on a deeper level, because this conversation about digital access and future of work does not end here. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, panelists. Let's give all ourselves a hand. And I'll invite Ivan to say the last thing and send us off to dinner. Thank you so much. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your patience. It's exemplary. If you are still here, I'm going to run quickly ahead of you. Make sure you identify as being here. You'll find me at the gate with a piece of chocolate. Okay? And if you don't see me, keep quiet forever. Yeah, thank you very much. So we have just announcements for this evening, but let me make one of them myself. When you look at your booklet for the program, the printing has an error. It says the program tomorrow is at the center in Usariva, but otherwise, the truth is we are here again tomorrow. But if you want to stay there, that's also fine, you vote. But the program should be corrected. We want to be here and enjoy our community, not so? Yeah, so we will be here tomorrow again. Then our MC would like to share with you what is coming up for tonight and tomorrow, just so you can prepare. And that's the only and last thing. MC,
Thank you so much.
Again, as others, you have 15 seconds, just like me. Eh?
Thank you so much. I know I will not take time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate Leah for the great work she did. Let's appreciate Ivan. He has been moderating since morning, you know. I never knew he could do that. I thought I was going to be like him, you know. But I'm still planning to be like you, Mr. Ivan. So our program, you know, I'm Mr. Entertainer, Mr. Africa. I love to entertain people. I know people are so bored and like they think they are bored, but we are not bored, right? They say, if you're patient, you will achieve your goals, okay? That's why the lions, the leopards, they always attack other animals and they get meat because they are patient, and you are the people. So what I need to announce to you guys, that those who were taking videos for the YouLead team who are coming from different countries, please, tomorrow during break time, come and see me so that we deliver the videos, because we want to add them and show to the world how you guys traveled to come to Arusha for the summit. Another thing also, we need people, if you have flags, something that you know represent your country, please tomorrow carry them and deliver them, because we need to show the world that YouLead is expanding every year, okay? Another thing also, tomorrow is our cultural night. How many people have watched our video online? Oh, thank you so much. And this year also, we are requesting you people to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you'll be updated on the programs, on videos. You know, sometimes people be like, I saw you on the other video. We want you to watch the video and get notifications. So subscribe to the YouLead YouTube channel. Another thing, that is dinner will be that side. And we have games and entertainment still this evening. We don't want you guys to be bored. So all is going will be at the center. We are going to have a team from Elimo Yeto Development. They are bringing for us cards, Ludo, and then other, you what? Don't worry, we shall watch also World Cup from there. Then we are going to have lots of entertainment, freestyling, karaoke, and all that. But remember tomorrow, please, the cultural night, we are representing our countries, but aiming at one Africa, okay? So we are going to be as a team. So if you know you're sleeping out, carry your attires so that tomorrow we start early and we enjoy, okay? Thank you so much. I think that's all I have. Yeah, also if you have seen a purse, a lost, a bag is kind of in. Yeah, a small bag. Maybe you can deliver because someone is looking for it. A money purse. Thank you. DJ, let us dance some YouLead song as we move out. Yeah, people want to stretch.
One more. Announce that if there's somebody that left their bag and their phone charging on the
Also, if you left your bag and a phone charging, it is at the security door. As you're going out, please, you can go and pick from there with evidence. DJ, we don't want the house to be quiet like this. We need to be leading all the time. As you lead, also I lead. We lead together. Hi. What is
Tusonga mbele mama Afrika, Afrika, Kwa pamoja Afrika.
shape young men and women. With the pillars, with the future, here we are. Let's join together with ability to change communities, with love, with peace, to respond to our need, to call for unity. Africa, hear me cry, never leave me alone. As I say loud in a brighter future, let's join hands for youth and women. Let's join hands for youth and
So you
women.
lead, I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We will lead, let your dream be a reality. We will lead, let your dream be a reality.
Yeah, vijana wa Afrika wote waungana, vijana vijana kutoka mashariki, magharibi, kaskazini na kusini, hata na kati, twaja pamoja ili tufanye nini?
So you lead, I lead, we lead together. So